license. We want to thank you for the sponsorship for this evening. Well, you're very welcome. We've got a very big crowd here tonight. I think we must have about 40 or 50. I'm trying to find the phone to call out there to see if anybody's working.
Well, that's the truth.
I got some questions I want to ask you and Mr. Huff, first of all. You guys sponsor things with the track. You sponsored Skinny Esther in the past. First Call Strategies Track Championships. Tommy Joe Couch on the MDRA circuit. The last 2 or 3 seasons you've had Archie Griffin. You've been a major track sponsor, put money into point funds and everything. I want to ask you a question. Why do you do this?
Well, we like racing. Bill Willard is a very good friend of ours. And 25 years ago, September, we came down here and went in business. And Bill Willard was probably one of the first customers we had.
Well, that's kind of a good relationship to start off with.
Well, it's been very good. And he built the track. And he came out one day and he said he was looking for a few sponsors for the track. And Bill has been such a very good customer. And my wife and I have been race fans forever. So we just kind of teamed up with him. And we've been together ever since.
I see 3 of your drivers, Archie Griffin, Benny Ward in the bomb squad, Brian Brown from here in Lebanon, Super Streeter. We talked about this during the season. You had a lot of proposals for sponsorship. How many did you have exactly?
Oh, I'd hate to say, Ronnie. Almost everybody drives out here, I think, either came by Willard or us one. But the only thing we hate about is we can't help everyone.
That's it. Now, I want to ask you something else here. When you get all these proposals for sponsorship, I know Barbara over there helps you. She kind of keeps things going out there at the restaurant, but yeah, she doesn't know it. She's going to give the trophies out there this evening. What do you look for? That's what I figured. First of all, what do you look for in a driver whenever they put a resume before you, whenever they want sponsorship?
Oh, kind of the individual. We really haven't ever looked at the winner part of it, although Arch has done a tremendous job for us. We kind of pick somebody that's a part of the industry that's just kind of good people and somebody we can be proud of.
Good deal. That sounds real good. Now let me ask you something. It's easy just to sponsor the car, easy just to help sponsor the track. You do both. You told us you really enjoy the racing. Now let's talk the business end. Do you see a good return on the investment that you do at the racetrack?
Oh, yes, we see a good return. I don't know whether we ever come out ahead or not, but, you know, these guys are very good to us, and I have to give credit to our general manager over here. She designed the racing corner out at the truck stop, and she knows all the drivers, and she usually is there every Saturday night and works with them and everything, and you know, we've just kind of got oriented to racing, and you and Bob and all the guys. It's been a pleasure to serve the industry.
Well, first of all, Ed, I speak from the track. I speak for a lot of the fans, especially in the wild side. We sit over in turn number 1. We thank you very much for all your support.
Well, I think probably tonight I'm taking the checkered flag because Brad and I, who've been partners for 25 years, we sold the operation to 2 of my kids who've run the thing for the last 5 years. And Mrs. Shelton, who's the manager, is still going to run everything. She always does, and she'll continue to do that. And they're very proud to have her, and we're very proud to be a part of the track. And we invite everybody to stop by, and we appreciate you and Bill Willard and Mr. Huff and all the guys that help. And everybody, you know, should be interested in racing because Bill has a fantastic track. The people, you know, the service he gives, the family-oriented part of it, it's just fantastic, and it's something people can come out here and enjoy and not be in any trouble. And he keeps updating it all the time. When we first started coming, there's gravel all up here, and the kids played in the gravel, and you couldn't hardly walk. And it's just fantastic.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Willard. Bill Willard, salute you for your support. Fans, Big Ed Dave from Big Daddy's there in Lebanon. And I want to ask this gentleman to come up. Hey, Ed, did that thing ride any good? Did it ride good?
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. I've been trying to con him out of it. I think the Archie's probably driving.
Well, we'll see. Big Ed Dave. Thank you, Ed. Next man we're going to introduce is the provided the pace cars for the last 3 seasons, and you see his cars over on this side, 6 of them. Ladies and gentlemen, from Lebanon Auto Sales here in Lebanon, been around 29 years, Mr. Willard House. Welcome. Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot just like I did him. Here's your cigar back. I don't smoke. Okay. I want to ask you the same thing, first of all. It's easy to get just involved with the track. It'd be very easy just to get involved with the cars, but you like to do a combination of both. Why?
Well, it's paid off for me through the years. I have people come to my lot every day, you know, practically, and they'll say, boy, your car done good last week that you sponsored. Your pace car is pretty. We enjoy seeing it going around the track, you know. So I'm just happy to have an interest in it. I got a grandson here that's interested in it. He's my sidekick.
He's the one that advises you, isn't he?
Right, yeah.
You advise him a lot, Jamie? Just a little bit. Okay, first of all, that's a good thing. Now, Willard, let's talk about the business end of it. You see a good return on the investment from the Speedway?
Yes, I sure do. With, you know, this many cars, I got several drivers there, you know, they've all got friends, and a lot of people down there. Where's a better place to go on Saturday night than I-44?
That's a good thing. I think everybody up there will agree with that here at the Ozarks Fast Track. Third question I want to ask you. You've got 6 honorary hombres over there.
Right.
Did you get a lot of applications for sponsorship this year?
Yeah, we had several people to drop in, and they say, well, we know you're already sponsoring several cars, you know, but we need a little help, you know. That's how some of the boys up there got in on the tail end, you know. And I've got some good drivers up there, nice-looking cars. See, that's what I like right there. And good personality drivers, they're just good guys.
You look for the personality in the driver's end.
That's right, yeah.
I know friendly, and I know Big Ed's got the local boys too. You have all Lebanon local boys right here helping support them.
I think more local people ought to get involved. You know, this is a good place to spend your money because you get a return.
Well, that's good. Willard, first of all, I know from the Speedway, we want to thank you, and I know you're strong supporters of the people that are also out here on the track, as is Big Ed and everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, from Lebanon Auto Sales, Mr. Willard House, and from the B&D Auto and Truck Plaza, Mr. Ed Day. Bob, back up to you.
All right, this is Charlie Stark. Heavenly Father, as we pause now, we thank you for this beautiful evening that you've given us. We thank you for this great facility that we have, and we can come together to enjoy a night of racing. And we thank you so much for the officials and the ones that work so hard to make it a success that it is. We ask that you to be with us tonight, that we'll truly have a safe night of racing, and it'll be an enjoyable night. We want to continue to lift up the family of Gary McCarty to you, and we pray that you'll bless them and strengthen them in a very special way at this time. We thank you again for your love for us. We ask that you continue to be with us, guide us, and direct us. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Attention, first street stop each of the staging area, please. Brian. The grandstand, are you ready to go race time? What about over there on the wild side. Are you ready to go racing? Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, fans of all ages. Well, welcome.
Tony Fincher in 17. Chuck Richards behind the wheel of 41. Ron Hamilton in 90. We call him the English gentleman. Steve Edgecombe in 65. It's Ron Myers, who had a couple of strong runs last night in car number 11. Brian Brown, the Lebanon chauffeur, with us in car 2. Johnny Cates in 94. The 5 machine of Joe Jones. Mike Shaddy in car number 16. The 81 driven by Sam Shaw. And ladies and gentlemen, if you direct your attention to turn number 4, actually just coming off that, you will see a white line which some of the cars are crossing right now. In the past, that has been where the racing action had started. Now, the drivers were informed last night and once again this evening that the racing competition does not start when the drivers cross that line, but rather when Keith Foreman will drop that green flag. And normally that will be on the entrance to turn number 3, the entrance or the exit to turn number 3. When he's satisfied with their lineup, he'll drop the green flag, and then you go racing. Well, one car has not answered the bell for the first qualifier of the evening. That's Teddy Thomas in car 75. He's scheduled to be tailback at the first qualifier, but Keith says, hey, let's not waste any time. Let's get ready to turn them loose on B&D night at the I-44 Speedway. It's Taylor and Fincher, Richards and Hamilton, Edgecombe and Myers, Brown and Cates, Jones and Chatty and Sam Shaw. They're down the backstretch. Taylor is the one to set the pace. Keith Foreman's going to look over the field as they head off now of turn 4, and I don't think he's very pleased. He wants them side by side. Fincher to the outside of row 1 is not the one to be setting the pace. Gentlemen, the caution flag is out. And Ronnie's going to make his way on the track and make that point very, very clear. The driver sitting on the pole position is the one to set the pace for the race. That's inside of row 1. There you see the warning being given to Tony Fincher in car 17. He is not the one who will set the pace for the race. Times around as the lights go off. Taylor to set the pace, Fincher to the outside, Richards and Hamilton in row 2. Edgecombe and Myers as they head off at turn 3. Keith Foreman's going to look over the field, and the first qualifier is underway on B&D night at the I-44 Speedway, and Myers collects Richards and also the 05 machine of Robert Taylor. Right back to the start-finish line. Richards has got a flat tire in 41 as he dives to the infield. And Taylor smacked the wall in the 05 machine. Well, Richards will head back to the pits in car 41. And Taylor got her completely spun around on the front stretch. Nothing officially down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, so we're going to need to get them lined up side by side once again for an original restart. You look at the point standings coming into the racing action this evening. Troy Constable is your points leader for the Super Stocks, 4 points ahead of Robbie Johnson. Tom Klaus is currently riding third with Charlie Johnson and Wayne Lewis rounding out the top 5. We'll get a little push to the machine of Robert Taylor. He'll take it down low in the entrance to turn 1 as A.J. Foote cleans up a lot of the debris that was left by that accident. A.J. does a pretty good job. Funny, he's Richard Putty on Friday night and A.J. Foote on Saturday. I don't know how that happens. Edgecombe and Tony Fincher, along with Brian Brown and Ron Myers. Joe Jones in the 94, Johnny Cates, Mike Shaddy in car 16, 11 and chauffeur, and the 81 of Sam Shaw. So it'll be Edgecombe setting the pace for our first qualifier, and AJ making sure no debris on the entrance to turn, or the exit rather, to turn 4. New diver back down to the infield, and Keith has a powerful right arm in the air. Says, hey, let's take it nice and easy. We're going 8 times around in the first qualifier of the evening for the Super Stocks. Fast car heat race is in the staging area and getting ready to hit the track next. Edgecombe, the English gentleman out of House Springs to set the pace. Fincher to the outside, followed by the 2 of Brian Brown and the 90 of Ron Hamilton as they head off at turn 3. These foremen are going to look over the field and let's go racing. And Edgecombe stands on the accelerator, and he takes your lead headed into turn 1 as they go 3 wide in a battle for 4th. With Jones, Hamilton, and Ron Myers, who now backs out of the accelerator and lines up beside Mike Shaddy. It's Steve Edgecombe, your leader, as he'll head across the start-finish line with 1 down and 7 remaining. 11 is Brian Brown, followed by Tony Fincher, rounding out the top 3 as your race leader, the English gentleman, down the backstretch. Edgecombe, Brown, Fincher, and Strafford. Joe Jones, followed by Shaddy. And here comes the 90 of Ron Hamilton trying the low groove. 2 laps down, 6 remaining in the first heat race for the Super Stocks. And Edgecombe, another strong run going, opening up about a 10-car length advantage as he dives into Calamity Corner. Brown and Fincher, there's your real battle. That's a battle for second. On the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, 3 laps down, 5 laps remaining. As Edgecombe hits the backstretch, Fincher looks to the inside of Brown, but can't find any running room. Now dives up high. Edgecombe off of Calamity Corner. This will be the midway point. 4 laps down, 4 laps remaining. It's Edgecombe, Brown, Fincher, Jones, Hamilton, Myers, and Shaddy side by side as they battle for the 6th position. It's Edgecombe headed into Calamity Corner. That's what we call turn number 3. Off of turn 4, now down the front stretch. 5 laps down, 3 laps remaining in the first heat race for the Super Stocks. Edgecombe maintains that lead. Your real battle right now is for second and for 4th as Hamilton tries the inside of Joe Jones in the battle for 4th, but Jones will slam the door shut this time. Edgecombe across the line with 6 down, 2 laps remaining on B&D night. And Edgecombe pulling away from the field as he hits the backstretch. Hamilton and Ron Myers have now managed to move by Joe Jones, but it's Steve Edgecombe ready to take the white flag with 1 more lap to go. Edgecombe headed off the turn 2 for the final time. Need to finish in the top 6 here to get your point average for the main event. Steve Edgecombe, the English gentleman out of House Springs, down the front stretch and taking the checkered flag. That's Steve Edgecombe. Ryan Brown second. Tony Fincher comes home 3rd. In car 37, formerly a Pure Street Stock standout. Tim McCowan with us in car number 12. Scott Phillips in car 3. 11 is Chris Nichols in 10. Wayne Lewis in 14. It's the 97 of Troy Constable. The double donut machine, Adam Miller, that's Robbie Johnson. Steve Shaw in car 19. Ron Boyce in car 22. Constable is your points leader heading into the racing action this evening with Miller's Robbie Johnson close behind in the number 2 position. Tom Klaus, who arrived with us late this evening, won the feature last week, so he will be starting tailback. Charlie Johnson. Foreman's going to look over the field this time around, make sure that they are lined up side by side. It'll be Cates and Paul, Dan Gillum and Gary Wall. Phillips and Nichols, Lewis and Johnson, Constable and Shaw, and Ron Boyce, who also made an appearance last night at Speedway USA, 8 times around in the fast car qualifier. Down the backstretch, Cates will set the pace for the race as they head into Calamity Corner. Keith will look over the field, and we're off to Superstock Racing. And down the front stretch they come. Dan Gillum to the inside of Cates as they go 2 abreast, headed into turn number 2. Dan Gillum, what a move. He falls from 4th to the lead, and Phillips is going to follow him by as they're 3 deep in Calamity Corner. Dan Gillum is 37 down the front stretch. Your leader with 1 lap down. Phillips right on his bumper, followed by the 14th machine of Wayne Lewis. Troy Constable, the points leader, is currently 4th, followed by Robbie Johnson, Cates, and Paul. Dan Gillum as Phillips lifts it a bit in car 3, maintains the lead with 2 down. 6 remaining on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. It's Dan Gillum in 37. Phillips again bobbles in 3. Looking to the inside in car 14 is Wayne Lewis, but Phillips will slam the door shut this time. It's Dan Gillum, but what a battle for second we have with Lewis and Phillips in 14 and 3. Dan Gillum opening up a slight lead. Phillips lifts the Constable, avoids the incident. How did he ever slide by the 3 machine? The caution light will come on. The yellow flag will drop as well. Boy, Phillips' car appears to be a bit loose this evening, but what a job of driving by your points leader in 97, Troy Constable. Dan Gillum is your race leader, and following that incident, Phillips will have to go to the rear of the field in car 3. 4 laps down, halfway through. Officially 3 laps down in the fast car qualifier. Modifieds are in the staging area for a couple of heat races. They will hit the track next. Yeah, Keith will look him over. We're going to send him around one more time. 5 laps remaining in the fast car qualifier. It's Gillum, Lewis, Constable, Johnson, Paul, Cates, Nichols, along with Wall, the 19 of Shaw Phillips, and the 22 of Ron Boyce. The lights go off around the high banks of the I-44 Speedway. Don't forget, fans, next weekend the Artco Series will be on hand. For the first time at the I-44 Speedway, there will be 3 support classes. Pure Streets, the Super Stocks, and the Late Model Stocks. Gillum will stand on the accelerator this time around, and Keith Foreman says we're back to racing action. Gillum, Lewis, and Constable are your 3 top runners as they dive into turn number 2. Constable looks to the inside of Wayne Lewis in a battle for second as they go into Calamity Corner side by side. Down the front stretch, it's Dan Gillum. We're at the midway point. Constable hangs on to second. Lewis is currently 3rd as they go into turn 2. Constable trying to get that low groove to stick. Now he dives up high, and Lewis will look to his inside. There's your battle. It's a battle for second as they come off of turn 4 and across the start-finish line, Gillum. Constable, oh, he got her a bit sideways, and he and Lewis exchange sheet metal. Troy able to maintain the 2nd position. Robbie Johnson hanging on to 4th and just waiting for a mistake up front. We'll have 6 laps down this time around. Constable looks to the inside of Dan Gillum. Can't make the pass this time around. He'll try the low groove again. This is a battle for the lead into Calamity Corner. Constable has the nose stuck in there as they head into turn 4. They're side by side with 1 more lap to go. Gillum, your leader. He'll pinch down low. Constable trying to make that middle groove stick. And Robbie Johnson fighting his way by Wayne Lewis. This is a battle for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Down the front stretch, the checkered flag is out, and it will go to your points later, Troy comes home third, Wayne Lewis fourth, and Mike Ball fifth. 6. Out of the Joplin area with us again, that's 17-year-old Jamie McMurray in car 2. Bill Allen in number 11, the 73 of Russell Graves. Brian Kapika in car 5 has been running very, very strong. Mike Burris in car number 1. For the Grand American Modifieds, David Bates is your points leader with Ramey Johnson, Brian Marler, Lee McGill, and Brian Kapika. Rounding out the top 5, and Keith Foreman says, how about side by side as we get ready to turn them loose. Eight times around, Terry Taylor will set your pace for the race. He's will look him over. Let's go. Modified racing. Taylor looking for his first win of the year. McMurray will challenge as they dive into turn number 1. After a couple of weeks off, McMurray looking for a strong run this evening. They're in the Calamity Quarter now down the front stretch with a lap down. 7 remaining. Taylor, McMurray going to turn 1, side by side. McMurray, after a couple weeks off, is back out front. Jamie McMurray, the 17-year-old in car 2. Taylor, second. Graves and Kapika in a battle for third. On B&D night, 2 laps down, 6 remaining. It's McMurray, Taylor, Russell Graves, Brian Kapika, and the 11 of Bill Allen. Down the front stretch he comes in the Manley-sponsored car number 2. Joplin's Jamie McMurray opening up about a 4-car length advantage over former Superstock driver Terry Taylor. Graves and Kapika have their own battle going for 3rd and 4th. It's the midway point. 4 laps down, 4 laps remaining. McMurray, Taylor, Kapika trying to make a move on Russell Graves as they're down the backstretch. Graves a bit loose, and Kapika giving them all kinds of room to work with. But it's McMurray, your leader, with 5 laps down. 3 laps remaining on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Fast car heat race comes your way next as McMurray leads the pack into turn 4. 6 down, only 2 laps remaining. And the chauffeur out of the Joplin area looking for a heat race victory this evening will lead the field into turn 4 down the front stretch as the white flag comes out. They've got 1 more lap to go. McMurray and Taylor followed by Graves and Kapika. Allen and the one machine of Burris round out the first qualifiers. Jamie McMurray heads off at turn 4, taking the checkered flag for the modified. Taylor comes home 2nd, Graves is 3rd, Kapika finishes 4th, and Allen 5th. Well, fans, he's taking a couple of weeks off for number 10. Jumping, Donnie Jumper in 75. The 22 machine and some strong runs for John Corliss. Any Brian Marler fans out here this evening in car 21. Out of Miller, the familiar colors of the double donut modified of Ramey Johnson. He is your track points leader in car 91, David Bates. Bates will start tailback in the main event this evening for the Modifieds, and if you notice, still sporting that for sale sign on the side of the 91 Modifieds. Our own A.J. Foot making sure there's no debris on the track for the Modifieds. Don't want those Hoosier Racing slicks picking up any debris. You get a tire that splinters as a result of any number of things, including picking up debris, you're just asking for trouble. And Ronnie, I don't know about you, but I think I'm going to like our actual pace car better than that one. B&D and Laclede Auto Sales providing us with pace vehicles this evening. Well, it'll be McGill and Jumper in row 1. Corliss Marler in row 2, followed by Bates and Johnson this time around. McGill and car 10 will set the pace as they head down the backstretch. Keith will put that powerful right arm in the air. He's going to look over the field. Wants him side by side, and he'll look him over. Let's go, modified racing. McGill and Jumper, it's a side-by-side battle as they go into turn 1. Now McGill pulls ahead. Marler diving to the inside, and he'll line up behind Jumper. Now look to his inside as they go into Calamity Corner. It's Lee McGill, your leader off of turn 4. McGill crosses the start-finish line. Marler second, Jumper in the number 3 position. They're down the backstretch. Lee McGill and car 10. Track points leader David Bates already up to third as Ramey looks to the inside of Jumper. He'll make that pass for 4th. Now side by side in a battle for the lead. Lee McGill and Brian Marler. Down the backstretch. Brian Marler, your new race leader. Bates, the track points leader, is currently second, and he appears a little bit loose this time. 3 laps down, 5 laps remaining. Marler, just a couple weeks ago, won his first feature of the season, trying to hold off the track points leader. Bates in 91, Ramey Johnson is up to third, and look at the high side. They're side by side in a battle for the lead. Marler slams the door shut with 4 down, 4 remaining. Bates down the backstretch again. Looking to the inside of Marler going into Calamity Corner. That's a battle for the lead. Johnson chooses the high group as Bates bobbles. Marler leads with 5 down, 3 remaining. Bates again bobbles. As Marler maintains a lead down the backstretch, they dive into Calamity Corner this time. Side by side, they're headed down the front stretch. Bates and Marler across the start-finish line and into turn 1. And Bates makes the pass. It's David Bates in 91, your new race leader. 6 laps down. Keith Foreman's got the white flag out for David Bates, and he's got 1 more laps to go. Bates smoking that 91 machine of Ramey Johnson. Moves inside of Brian Marler. He'll make the pass for second. They go into Calamity Corner for the final time, and down the front stretch, he's your track points leader, David Bates. Johnson second, Marler third. About to hit the track. Here comes the first qualifier of the evening for the late model stocks. Lebanon's Todd Lewis in car 93. It's Randy Nutter in car 3. Part of our Gateway connection, Jim Gilbert in car number 6. The team car to Mark Chance's car 54, car 4, driven by David Anderson. It's Buffalo Sam Payne in 49. The Lebanon Show from behind the wheel of car 56. That's Tony Jackson. Tim Jackson on hand in car 65. Nutter will set the pace for the race as the lights go off. Keith Foreman will put that powerful right arm in the air. He's going to look over the field, and he will say, "Let's go racing." And it'll be the 93 of Todd Lewis leading him down the backstretch. That's the team car to Lebanon's Carl Lawrence, the points leader. Oh, and problems in 93. Oh, that smoke, he's going to dive to the inside. You know what that means. We're going to have to go to an original restart. That's not a good sign. We're going to have to make sure there's not a whole lot of fluid out on the track. That's not a good sign at all. Hopefully that's not a blown engine, but when you see that kind of smoke, not a good sign at all. Evidently not a lot of fluid was dropped on the track when it appeared that the engine let go.
get them lined up side by side and nose to tail and get ready to turn loose again this evening on B&D night. Late model stock point standings heading into the racing action tonight. Lebanon's Carl Lawrence is your points leader, only 8 points ahead of J.C. Newell. The Racing Reverend, Jack Daniels third, Bill Gillum fourth, and Larry Roberts in the number 5 position. Your tailback driver in the feature this evening will be Camdenton's Ben Newell. He took home the late model stock feature not only last night at Speedway USA, but last Saturday night here at the I-44 Speedway. Keith will look him over this time around. He wants them side by side and nose to tail. Nutter will set the pace. Anderson to the outside, Gilbert and Payne, followed by Mark Chance, then the Jackson and Jackson. Nutter will set the pace as they go into Calamity Corner. Keith Foreman will put that right arm in the air. Let's go. Late model stop. And it's Dave Anderson in car 4 taking your lead, diving into turn 2 down the backstretch. And here comes Sam Payne. In 49, he'll lead him into Calamity Corner. This is only the first lap. They're dueling and dicing. It's Sam Payne followed by Anderson, Tony Jackson, Gilbert, Mark Chance, Tim Jackson, and Nutter in car 3. Down the backstretch, it's Sam Payne, the Buffalo chauffeur in car 49. Jackson to the inside of Dave Anderson in a battle for second. Chance looking to follow him by. But opening up to about an 8-car length advantage. It's Sam Payne down the backstretch. Tony Jackson hangs on to second. Marshfield's Mark Chance is up to third as he slides by Anderson. And Nutter in car 3 will take it to the high side and head into the pits. 3 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Sam Payne now trying to hold off the challenges of Tony Jackson in car 56. 4 laps down. In our first qualifier for the late model stocks, Jackson tries the inside lane but can't find the running room. Payne will slam it shut as they go into Calamity Corner. We'll have 5 down in Gilbert to the inside of Dave Anderson. That's a battle for 4. Part of our Gateway connection. Jim Gilbert makes a pass, and Anderson's going to loop her in the 4. Got her headed in the right direction in car 4, but he's got it stalled down low in the entrance to turn 1. That'll bring out the caution flag. Laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Anderson to head to the rear of the field in car 4. 5 down, 3 laps remaining. Keith Foreman says, hey, let's not waste any time. Nose to tail. It's Sam Payne out of Buffalo. Tony Jackson, Mark Chance, Jim Gilbert, Dave Anderson in the 65 of Tim Jackson. A slow, methodic pace down the backstretch for Payne out of Buffalo in car 49 on B&D night at the I-44 Speedway. They're in a Calamity Corner. Keith Foreman's going to look over the field. Will he drop in this time around? We're back. The racing action. Can Payne hold off Tony Jackson and Mark Chance? With 5 down on your Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, his tires have started to cool down a bit. They're in the Calamity Corner. Jackson will look to the inside. Oh, what a move from Tony Jackson. They're side by side going into turn 1. Tony Jackson, your new race leader. Sam Payne second. Mark Chance is currently third. The white flag in the hands of Keith Foreman. And we've got 1 more lap to go. Jackson, Payne, and the 54 Mark Chance as Tim Jackson off the pace and headed to the pits in 65. But headed into turn 4 down the front stretch, waiting for the checkered flag. Tonight's first winner for the late model stock, Tony Jackson. Model stocks behind the wheel of the Buick Regal. Out of the Phillipsburg Conway area, that's Scotty Atkinson. The American band sponsored 28 of Ron Dubois. Two-time Speedway champion from Steelville, Bill Gilliman, 17. He's looking for 3 straight feature wins this evening out of Camden. In car 83, Ben Newell. Last year, Speedway USA track champion out of Gravois Mill, the racing Reverend Jack Daniel. Here's your track points leader in car 92, Lebanon's Carl Lawrence. From Springfield, the chauffeur of car 57, Larry Roberts. He's already won 1 feature this year. Also from Camden, we call the Gentle Giant, J.C. Newell in 84. 8 times around in the fast car qualifier for the late model stocks. Track points leader is Carl Lawrence with J.C. Newell, Jack Daniel, Bill Gilliam, and Larry Roberts rounding out the top 5. And Keith Foreman says, gentlemen, side by side, nose to tail. This time around, they look to take the checkered flag. Keep this in mind, fans. In the feature, it's Ben Newell in 83, starting tailback. He won last week. Atkinson will set the pace in the Buick Regal 22. Duprat to his outside, and we're off to more racing action. Atkinson will lead him into turn 1. Duprat, and here comes Ben Newell, who led flag to flag last night at Speedway USA. Atkinson looking for his first win of the year. He'll lead as they head across the start-finish line with 1 lap down. 7 remaining. Bill Gilliam also on the moving car, 17. He's up to 4th, and here comes Ben Newell to the inside of Scott Atkinson. Ben Newell down the front stretch. You'll have 2 laps down, and Ben Newell, your new race leader. Atkinson second. Duprat. Here comes Carl Lawrence, muscling his way up to 4th. Gilliam slides to 5th. J.C. Newell to the high side to avoid the sliding car of Gilliam. But it's Ben Newell out of Camden for the 83 machine with 3 laps down, your race leader. Lawrence to the inside of Duprat, the Laclede Auto Sales sponsored machine up to 3rd. Atkinson off the pace in car 22. But it's Ben Newell down the front stretch. They're dueling and dicing throughout the pack. Duprat in second. Lawrence bobbling a bit. He's loose at 92, but now trying to move past the American band 28 of Ron Duprat. And Ben Newell taking full advantage. He's down the front stretch. He's your leader with 5 down, 3 remaining. Duprat, followed by Lawrence, Gilliam, Roberts, and J.C. Newell. Ben Newell, as he did last night at Speedway USA, started to run away with it. 6 down, 2 laps remaining. Carl Lawrence to the inside of Duprat, a battle for second. Down the backstretch, it's Ben Newell. Well, look at the battle for 3rd. Keith Foreman has got that white flag out for Ben Newell at 1 more laps to go. But here's your battle for 2nd. Lawrence and Duprat go side by side into turn 1. Duprat slams the door shut this time. Lawrence with the inside groove. But in the meantime, it's Camden. It's Ben Newell taking the checkered flag, but here they come for 2nd. Side by side, Ron Duprat. Lawrence, Gilliam, and Larry Roberts. Mike Montag in car 73. Rookie driver Brian Daniel in 52. Steve Holt in 35. The 29th machine this evening. Chauffeured by Paul Lawson. Bobby Menzie back with us as one-stop sponsored 41. O'Sullivan Furniture, the sponsor, Paul Wallen's lucky number 13. We call him the Richland Bullet, Bob Webster in car 25. From the state of Indiana, getting things dialed in for the Art Show Series 100-lap late model feature next week, the Indiana Outlaw, Bobby Blount, chauffeuring the 31 machine. Don Floyd also back on hand with us in car number 30. Set to go 10 times around, and Montag will be on the pole. Brian Daniel to the outside. Followed by Holt and Lawson, Menzie and Wallen. Bob Bob Webster flown in the 30 machine of Don Cloyd. 10 times around, and Keith Foreman says, how about side by side? How about nose to tail? How about 10 times around for the Grand American late model? Montag will set the pace. They go into Calamity Corner. Keith Foreman's going to look him over. And let's go. Late model racing. And it's Brian Daniel, the rookie, with Lawson trying to follow him behind the high side, but Montag will slam that door shut. Here comes Steve Holt up the third. Lawson up the pace. He and Wallen exchange some sheet metal. Across the start-finish line with 1 down, 9 remaining is Brian Daniel. Montag, Holt, Betsy, and Webster round out your top 5. Well, the Indiana Outlaw trying to find some running room in 31, and now they go single file with the second to Floyd, who gets his side Lawson. 2 down, 8 remaining is Brian Daniel. Opening up to a car length advantage, and down the front stretch. That's going to bring out the caution flag. Paul Lawson in car 29. Well, the word from our trackside stewards, no injuries at all sustained by Paul Lawson in that 29 machine, though he did smack the wall pretty hard right in front of the flag stand. 2 laps down officially on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. That gives us an opportunity to look at the late model point standings. Heading into racing action this evening, Springfield's Archie Griffin in the B&D sponsored car number 11 is your points leader. 3-time national champion Larry Phillips is only 8 points off the pace. The Iceman, Ricky Eisenhower from Fairgrove, 3rd. Spuds Dickinson has made a big charge forward. He's up to 4th in the Laclede Auto Sales sponsored Ford Thunderbird. Rapid Roy Chisholm out of Republic is in the number 5 position. Well, one of the most difficult things here may just be trying to find a place to hook onto that 29 machine. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's still behind the wheel, especially down the front stretch. He can hear you. The chauffeur of car 29, Paul Lawson. Fast car heat race for the late models is in the staging area. Just one adjustment needs to be made to the field. If you're looking for a video copy of tonight's racing competition, right next to the tower, there's a booth. You can sign up for 12 bucks. Get a hold of a video copy of tonight's racing action or any racing competition prior to this evening. And I imagine we'll be doing the same for the Artco Series next week. Well, if you're looking for some more racing information, After Dark, an entertainment monthly for the Springfield Tri-Lakes area. Souvenir copies are available at the concession stand at absolutely no charge this evening. So if you're looking for some more information on the racing action, go ahead and pick one of those up. Well, when you see 2 records out there, hook it up to a car, it is never a good sign. But hopefully Paul can find some way to get that thing back together and ready for the main event this evening. But again, when you see 2 records hooking up to a car like that, not a good sign at all. Next week, the stars and cars of the Artco Series will be on hand. Fans, it's the newest tradition in NASCAR Winston Racing Series competition. You get here early, you line up to get into tier parking, then you start the barbecue. And you're going to want to do that bright and early next week. Gates will open at 4 o'clock next week, including tier parking.
Well, Bob, we're down here with one of the Gateway Connection members, one of the original ones, Paul Lawson. Paul, what happened to you?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I do not know. It just went straight into the wall. I come off of turn 4, wouldn't turn, went straight under the wall.
Tough race. Paul, we're glad to have you down here with us. I know you've been a hard charger for many years in the area.
I feel bad about my appearance so far. I'm going to come back and do a better job.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Walton out of St. Louis, the driver of car 29.
Well, I tell you what, a class act, having a couple words with Ronnie and with the great race fans as well after a tough incident. It's Brian Daniel, your race leader, with 2 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Mike Montag, Steve Holt, Bobby Menzie, and Bob Webster rounding out the top 5. Next Friday night, Boy Scout Celebrity Race at Speedway USA. $1 off every admission price. We'll go to the Boys and Girls Towns of Missouri, so you want to be on the hand for that. Late model drivers, some of them are going to be in the dunking booth next Friday night at the Speedway USA. And among those who will be on hand in the dunking booth, Paul Wallet in car 13, Archie Griffin, who is in the staging area now, getting ready for the fast car heat race. The Kelly Racing team out of Walnut Grove will be there, and also in the staging area, getting ready to get all wet next week, Rapid Roy Chisholm out of Republic. And those are just some of the drivers who look forward to getting wet next week for charity.
Bob, I'm disappointed in you. The 50-50 raffle tickets are on sale, and you haven't mentioned nothing about that tonight. Don't forget that 50-50 raffle ticket sale at the late model feature will announce how much and the winning ticket number. You've got to know all roughly about the modified feature. Only $1 a chance. The more you get, the more money in the pot.
Big Daddy's Family Restaurant is where you need to head after the racing competition. Exit 127 off I-44. It'll be Daniel, Montag, Holt, Menzie, Webster, your top 5. They're down the backstretch. 2 down, 8 remaining. Our first qualifier for the late model. Keith Foreman's going to look him over, and no. And I got a funny feeling he may be just a little bit agitated. He doesn't want any passing done until the green flag drops. And Mr. Foreman has made that abundantly clear. He said, what do you say we try this again? Brian Daniel, who already owns a couple of feature wins, one at the I-44, one at Speedway USA, will lead him down the backstretch. Montag searching for his first heat race win in a late model. Formerly a late model stock driver. They bunch up down the backstretch. Keith is going to look him over, and he will say, let's go, late model racing. Daniel, Montag, and Holt, and here comes Webster. Trying to get my mention out of the high side is the Indiana Outlaw. Bobby Lowney's going to move by Webster. Now setting his sights on Bobby Menzie. Montag moves it as they dive off of turn 4. It's Brian Daniel. Montag hangs on to second. Holt and Menzie side by side in the battle for third, and Webster. Now we'll shuffle up to 4th, and they're going too deep into Calamity Corner. As our Indiana Outlaw can't make the pass on the Richland Bowman this time around. It's Brian Daniel starting to pull away. About 15 car lengths down the backstretch. Webster gets a bit loose at 25. They're going to try it 3 wide. Normally that doesn't work. It's Brian Daniel, Montag, Menzie, and the Outlaw. Webster drops back to 5th. Brian Daniel at 52 into Calamity Corner. The Outlaw moves up to 3rd. Now setting his sights on Montag. As we've got 135. They are going 40 times around on B&D Auto Truck Plaza tonight. And now to the infield, the 30 machine, Don Cloyd. Hopefully not a whole lot of problems there. In fact, may have a tire going down as well. Fast car heat race about to Steve Simmons. We call him the Black Bandit. Tim Gettemeyer in 68. Back with us from Fenton, car 99. Joe Walsh from Republic. The Ebenezer sponsored 57 of Rapid. Roy Chisholm from Fairgrove. The lucky number 7, the Iceman, Ricky Eisenhower. In the Laclede Auto Sales, sponsored for Thunderbird. That's Lebanon's Kenny Spud Dickinson in 21. He is the 3-time NASCAR short track national champion from Springfield in car 75, Larry Phillips. Sporting the colors of B&D in car 11, the track points leader from Springfield, Archie Griffin. All the way from Farmington, the chauffeur behind the wheel of car 24, Dean Motzinger. 10 times around, and Keith Foreman will say we like it side by side, we like it nose to tail. Simmons and Gettemeyer in row 1. Walsh and Chisholm, Eisenhower and Dickinson, Griffin and Phillips and Dean Motzinger. Going 10 times around. Simmons will set your pace down the backstretch as the field will start to bunch up. 10 times around. Keith Foreman's going to look over the field, and he will say we're off to late model racing. Simmons across the start-finish line. First there, 3 deep, going into turn 3. Some sheet metal exchange as they roar down the backstretch. It's Simmons, Gettemeyer, Walsh, Eisenhower, Spud, Phillips, and the 11 of Archie Griffin. Steve Simmons, your race leader as they head down the backstretch with 1 down, 9 laps remaining. Gettemeyer trying to close the gap. Walsh is 3rd, Spud currently 4th. Simmons, Gettemeyer, Walsh, Dickinson, and here comes Larry Phillips to the inside of Ricky Eisenhower. That's the battle for 5th as Chisholm heads to the pits at 57. It's Steve Simmons and Eisenhower bobbles at 7th. Walsh to the inside of Gettemeyer. Spud will also look to the inside of Walsh, and this time slams the door shut. It's Steve Simmons in that racing Chevrolet Aluminum with 4 laps down, 6 laps remaining, your race leader. Simmons opening up about a 6-car length advantage. Gettemeyer unable to haul in the chauffeur from Springfield as Phillips tries the inside of Dickinson but can't make it this time around. Simmons, Gettemeyer, Walsh, Spud, Phillips, and Archie Griffin. Eisenhower going to get back by Dean Motzinger as they'll head into Calamity Corner down the front stretch with 6 laps down. 4 laps remaining. And Simmons has started on the pole, trying to capture the heat race for the late models. They dive into Calamity Corner, need to finish in the top 6. Phillips to the inside of Spud, going to battle for 4th. Dickinson will slam the door shut this time, but can he make the high groove stick? Not this time around. Simmons goes into Calamity Corner. Gettemeyer trying to haul in the chauffeur from Springfield with 8 laps down, 2 laps remaining. Steve Simmons started on the pole, trying to lead this one flag to flag. The white flag is out for Steve Simmons with 4 laps to go. Gettemeyer, can he steal another one in the last lap? They go into Calamity Corner. That's why we call him the Black Bandit. But it's Steve Simmons off of turn 4. And now we're going to have the caution flag come out. Ricky Eisenhower low on the track. Well, we won't have left, green, white, checker. We're going to check the coordination of Keith Foreman. Green and white will come together. He tried this once before, and it didn't work real well. He's been practicing all week long. It's Steve Simmons, Tim Gittemeyer, Joe Walsh. Get a hold of those flags, Keith. Simmons, Gittemeyer, Walsh, Phillips, Griffin, Spuds, and Motzinger off of turn 3, and they've got 1 more lap to go. Phillips will look to the inside of Walsh, and he'll slide his way forward and move up to third. But it's Steve Simmons, headed off of turn 4 and down the front stretch out of Springfield. Steve Simmons, Gittemeyer second, Phillips of area racing. Here comes the pure street. Now wait, what is this? B&D night, and the good folks at B&D, Ronnie, they brought chicken up in the tower. I don't get any either. Rick Barker in car 5 leads him out. It's Daniel Weaver in 19, Willie Compton in 04, the 75 of Benny Ward, Darren Weaver in 7, Teresa Howard in 18, Randall Weddle in 32, Brian Slicker in 9, Shannon Reed in 98, and we're off to Bomb Squad Racing. Down the back stretches, Rick Barker has they go 3 deep. Weddle, Holiday, and the 98 of Reed exchange a little sheet metal. Barker headed off at turn 4 will lead with 1 lap down, 5 remaining. First of 3 heat races for the Bomb Squad. Barker about a 10-car length advantage over Weaver's 19. Compton hanging on to third. Darren Weaver in 7th, trying to move forward. 2 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard on B&D night. It's Rick Barker in the yellow 5 machine, your leader down the backstretch. Daniel Weaver in 19, starting to fade a bit. Compton, and here comes Holiday, moving up to the number 4 spot. 3 laps down. 3 laps remaining as Barker down the backstretch and into Calamity Corner. For the real battle right now, some problems for Benny Ward. In 75, it looks like a tire has gone down. He'll loop her to the high side. Let's see if the lights will remain on or not. Your race leader is Barker. It appears that Ward is off the track and out of harm's way. He's down the backstretch trying to dial that 75 machine back into the pit. The white flag is out, though, with 1 more lap to go. Rick Barker in car 5 trying to lead this one from flag to flag. Barker into Calamity Corner for the final time. And into turn 4 down the front stretch, awaiting the checkered flag for Rick Barker. Weaver's going to come home second, and a strong run for Teresa Holiday in 18, finishing third. Weaver and Compton 4th and 5th. The 66's Daniel Graves behind the wheel of 2 Terry Holtkamp. Larry Pruitt in 02, the 28 of Mike McMullen. The 92 Jason Woods. Rick Oliver in car number 12. And in 24, that's Chuck Hansen. Going 6 times around. Keith Foreman will look him over this time. I think he's going to put that right arm in the air. You hear the tires squalling during the parade lap for the Bomb Squad. Pure Street Stock point leader heading into racing action tonight is Spanky Weiss with Robert Rees currently second. In the second qualifier of the evening for the Bomb Squad, Benson will set the pace. Skaggs to the outside. Second row of Graves and Holtkamp. They dive into turn 3. Keith Foreman says, long pause. We're off to Bomb Squad Racing. Benson in 23 started on a pole, leads him into turn one. They're 3 wide. Pruitt gets her a bit sideways in 0-2, and Wood starts to make a charge at 92. He started 7th. He's up to 3rd as they go out of Calamity Corner. Benson here later at 23 across the start finish line with 1 down, 5 remaining on B&D 9. Graves hangs on to 2nd. Woods is currently 3rd. Looking on the inside of Graves, but can't find the running room. Mike Benson takes the lead, packed into Calamity Corner. Boy, Terry Holtkamp also on the move in car 2. But it's Benson, followed by the 66 of Graves and the 92 of Wood. Look at this battle in the back of the pack. Getting her a bit sideways is McMullen at 28th, but he's off the blinders and onto the gas and headed down the backstretch. It's Mike Benson in the familiar 23 machine. Oh, opener Terry Holtkamp. Right smack dab into McMullen, but you know what? They got her going again. Benson down the backstretch. Now trying to hold off the hard-charging Jason Woods, who dives low in the Calamity Corner. We'll have 4 laps down, 2 laps remaining this time around. This is a battle for the lead. Benson and Woods, 1st and 2nd. Woods gets her a bit sideways, onto the binders and back onto the accelerator down the backstretch. Graves, Pruitt, and Skaggs round out your top 5. They're headed down the front stretch, waiting for the white flag, and they've got 1 more lap to go. It's Benson, Woods, and now the 0-2 of Pruitt as the wall finds some more company off of turn 4. Here comes Woods again. This is a battle for the lead. Jason Woods and Mike Benson off of turn 4, waiting for the checkered flag, hand extended. It will be Jason Woods. Benson, Pruitt, Skaggs, and the 66 of Daniel Graves. Craig in car 20. The 21 machine of Chris Shoemaker, George Huey Jr., former track points leader in 41. The 6th machine, strong runs up and down this year for Robert Reeves. It's Joe Oxer in car 44. The 03 car of Don Scroggins. Gary Klossner in 15. And at the rear of the field, your track points leader in car number 11, Spanky Weeks. Going 6 times around. B&D night at the I-44 speed. Ronnie, the chicken's about gone. I'll tell you what, you give these scorers up here a chance to eat some of that B&D chicken. It's not going to last but 1 heat race. Linda Craig will set the pace for the race in car number 20. Hawkins to the outside. Going 6 times around. Oxer and Shoemaker in row number 2. Followed by Yarborough and Huey. Reeves and Klossner, Spanky and Scroggins. Keith Foreman's going to look him over. It looks like a good lineup. And we're back to Bomb Squad Racing. And 3 deep, now 4 deep, going into turn 1. Oxer, Yarborough, Huey, Shoemaker also involved. It's Hawkins in 06, your leader going into Calamity Corner. Yarborough trying to make a charge forward as well in 1. He taps Oxer's machine, spins her down into turn 4, some more sheet metal exchange. And the black flag, no, is just pointed, or no, it isn't. Black flag is issued to Al Yarborough in car 1. It's Jesse Hawkins in 6, headed down the front stretch. Your race leader with 2 laps down. 2 laps down, 4 laps remaining. Hawkins, Huey, followed by Craig and Robert Reeves. Hawkins will dial her into Calamity Corner. Huey Jr., former track points leader. Craig and Reeves and Klossner round out your top 5. You need to finish in the top 4. Hawkins, Huey Jr., followed by Craig, Reeves, and Klossner. Now the odd driver out. 3 laps down, 3 laps remaining as Hawkins sets the sight on Calamity Corner. They head down the front stretch. 4 laps now down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Jesse Hawkins in 06. Huey is currently 2nd. The battle is for 3rd, though, with Craig, Reeves, and Klossner. Keith Foreman has got the white flag out for Jesse Hawkins. Headed off at turn 4 with one more lap to go. Hawkins, Huey, and the sixth machine of Robert Reeves right behind Linda Craig. Kloster now the odd driver out in 5th. It's Jesse Hawkins setting the sights on Calamity Corner for the final time. Waiting for the checkered flag. It will drop for Jesse Hawkins. Huey, Craig, Reeves, Kloster, and Spanky. Well, there is your fast car. Heat race winner this evening. Times around. Ron Hamilton leads about a 90. That's Tony Fincher in car 17. Ron Myers at 11. The English gentleman, Steve Edgecombe in 65. The chauffeur of car 5, that's Joe Jones. Brian Brown in car 2. Mike Paul in 4. Dan Gillum in 37. Wayne Lewis in 14. Chris Nichols in car 10. Your track points leader, Troy Constable in 97. Robbie Johnson for Miller in the double donut machine. Scott Phillips with us in car number 3. Gary Wall in car number 12. Part of the Cates Racing team in car 91, that's Jim Cates. Mike Shaddy in car 16, the 94 of Johnny Cates. Sam Shaw with us in car 81, the 19 of Steve Shaw. Teddy Thomas in 75. Ron Boyce in 22. Tom Klaus will start shotgun in car 42. And Chuck Richards will head to the pits in car 41. Three cars set to take the checkered flag for tonight. Super Stock B&D 20. And our pace vehicles head back to the pit area. Keith Foreman is going to look them over. Fincher and Hamilton in row 1. Edgecombe and Brown, Paul and Gillum. Nichols and Lewis. Johnson and Constable. This time around, we look to have them take the green flag. Here comes our Super Stock A feature. For the first time this season, Tony Fincher will sit on the pole for the main event in car 17. He will set the pace for the race. Hamilton to the outside in 90. Fincher's going to stand on the accelerator. The B&D 20 is underway. Fincher across the start-finish line. The English gentleman, Steve Edgecombe, dials it on the inside. And down the backstretch, he is your race leader, Steve Edgecombe, in car 65. Fincher second, followed by Ron Myers, Hamilton, and Dan Gillum. They're 3 deep, coming off of turn 4 and down the front stretch. But it's Edgecombe, followed by Ron Myers at 11, Fincher, Gillum, and Hamilton. 23 cars, 20 times around. Edgecombe heads off at turn 4. We've got 2 laps down. Ron Myers now with the sights set on second, but it's Dan Gillum, the chauffeur of car 37. Edgecombe, your leader, going into Calamity Corner. Wayne Lewis on the charge, past Myers and up to 3rd. 3 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Steve Edgecombe now with Dan Gillum right on his bumper, and here comes Wayne Lewis. Boy, that's a battle for the top spot as they head off of Calamity Corner and down the front stretch. Going 20, we've got 4 laps down. Dan Gillum in 37, your new race leader. Edgecombe followed by the Georgian Troy Constable. He heads up and now moves into the number 2 position. They're down the front stretch with 5 laps down. Constable is second. And now the yellow light will come on. That's a 19 of Steve Shaw, which looped it down the backstretch. He'll head to the rear of the field. And of course, you go back to the last completed lap with 4 laps down officially on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. And going back to the last completed lap, your leader is the English gentleman out of House Springs, Steve Edgecombe. Dan Gillum will officially ride in the number 2 position. When that caution light comes on and the yellow flag goes out, you go back to the last completed lap, which puts the English gentleman out front of the pack. Well, he only moved up 1 spot. He needs to move up 1 more. 4 laps down, 16 laps remaining. Part of the B&D 20 for the straight stocks. Just a couple moves need to be made to the field. And Steve Edgecombe is your race leader. Ron Myers will also move behind Troy Constable. So it's Steve Edgecombe, your race leader. Dan Gillum, Wayne Lewis, Troy Constable, Ron Myers, Phillips, followed by Johnson, Fincher, and Hamilton. Brown goes ahead of Chris Nichols, and we should have ourselves a pretty good lineup. We have the point standings for the street stocks. Coming into tonight's action, Constable is your points leader, but only 4 ahead of Robbie Johnson. Tom Klaus, Charge and Charlie was involved in a major accident last night, and Wayne Lewis round out your top 5. 4 down, 16 laps remain for the Super Stocks. Get Mike Paul ahead of Chris Nichols, and we've got ourselves a good lineup. And the lights go off. Head back to the infield, Mr. Williams. Down the backstretch. Edgecombe was now the caution light will come back on. Didn't want him bunching up like that. We're going to send him around again. Good move there from Keith Foreman. He wanted the field nose to tail, but he didn't want the bumping and grinding down the backstretch. Modifieds are in the staging area. They'll hit the track next. The lights go off. Edgecombe, Gillum, Lewis, Constable, and Myers, your top 5 with 4 down, 16 laps remaining. They go into Calamity Corner. Pete Foreman looks them over, and we're back to Street Stock Racing. Boy, look at that. Mike Paul below the white line picks up a couple of spots in car 4, but out front is Gillum challenging the House Springs native Steve Edgecombe. Wayne Lewis also in the battle for the top spot, as is Troy Constable. It's Dan Gillum. Down the front stretch, some sheet metal exchange. Wayne Lewis makes it 3 wide into turn 1. Wayne Lewis looking to get by Dan Gillum as they head down the backstretch. This is a side-by-side battle for the lead. Edgecombe now off the pace from 1st to 5th. We will have 6 laps down. Wayne Lewis at 14, your new race leader. Here comes Constable on the inside of Gillum, who's trying to get back into the racing line as they dive into Calamity Corner. Constable up to 2nd. Gillum, Phillips, and Edgecombe, your top 5. They're side by side with 7 laps down. 13 remaining. Constable trying to make that low groove stick. Here's your track points later in car 97, going into Calamity Corner, trying to fight his way by Wayne Lewis. This is a battle for the top spot. Troy Constable, your new race leader. Constable about to put Boyce down a lap as Teddy Thomas looks like he's headed the pits in 75. Down the front stretch they come. We'll have 9 down, 11 remaining. Constable, Gillum, Lewis, Phillips, and now Robbie Johnson has moved up to the 5th spot. The 81 of Sam Shaw about to be put down a lap as your leaders will hit the midway point. 10 laps down, 10 laps remaining for Troy Constable. Gillum, Lewis, Phillips, and Johnson, your race leader and track points leader. In car 97 goes into Calamity Corner. We'll have 11 laps down this time around. 11 laps down. Constable running into some lap traffic and all the problems. Dan Gillum takes over the top spot. Constable drops from 1st to 5th. And Troy Constable in 97 goes to the pits. It's Dan Gillum, Wayne Lewis, Scott Phillips, Robbie Johnson, and now Steve Edgecombe, your top 5 runners. Lewis to the inside of Gillum as they go into Calamity Corner. They're going off of turn 3 into 4. Side by side they come, Dan Gillum, Wayne Lewis, Phillips, Johnson, and here comes Case at 94. Your race leader is Dan Gillum in car 37, Lewis, Phillips, Johnson, Case, and Edgecombe. Down the front stretch they come with 14 laps down. 6 laps remaining in the Superstock A feature. Dan Gillum in 37 about to encounter some more lap traffic as he looks to the inside of Case. Lewis will try and follow him through, as will Scott Phillips. Move over flag is shown. It's Dan Gillum, Lewis, Phillips, Robbie Johnson, and Steve Edgecombe. 15 down, 5 remaining as your leader goes into Calamity Corner. Across the start-finish line, Gillum, Lewis, and here comes Scott Phillips. That's a battle for second. Phillips trying to make that inside groove stick. It's Dan Gillum, only a 2-car length advantage. He'll have 17 down as Phillips tries to get by Lewis to the high side off of 4. Oh, you can't get any closer to the wall than that. Gillum will look to the inside of the 81 of Shaw this time. More lap traffic for your leader down the backstretch. That's car 37 headed down the front stretch. Constable back out of the pit. It's Gillum with only 2 laps left. Phillips is second, followed by Lewis, Robbie Johnson, Edgecombe, and Case. And Gillum, oh my. Yellow light will come on. Another tire that's loose on the wild side. Laps down in the B&D 24, the Super Stocks. Well, fans, he had a great run going this evening. He sandwiched right in turn 2. Now all he's going to get this evening is your applause. The chauffeur of car 37, Dan Gillum. That will give Scott Phillips a lead with Wayne Lewis second, Robbie Johnson third, Part of the Cates racing team, Jim Cates. Fourth, followed by Steve Edgecombe. This will be a green-white checkered. 18 down, 2 laps remaining. It looks like we need another push down the backstretch for Johnny Cates' 94 machine as Gillum is hauled back to the pits in 37. Modifieds will hit the track next. Just a couple moves need to be made to the field. And it looks like we've got ourselves a pretty good lineup. $18 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. We've got ourselves a good lineup. 18 down, 2 remaining in the B&D 24, the Super Stock. Your new race leader, the chauffeur of car 3, Scott Phillips. Keith Foreman's got that powerful right arm in the air. Phillips, Lewis, Johnson, Cates, Edgecombe, Paul, Nichols. The Boyce's car is 22. The lights go off around the high banks of the I-44 Speedway. The B&D 24, the Super Stocks, with just 2 laps remaining. Phillips will set the pace in car 3. Lewis, Johnson, Cates, and Edgecombe, your top 5. They go off at turn 3 with 2 laps left. We're back to Super Stock racing. Phillips looking for his first win of the year. Lewis right on the bumper. Will try and dial it in on the inside. Johnson, Edgecombe. Here comes Mike Paul. They head off at turn number 4 down the front stretch with 4 laps to go. Phillips leads it down the back stretch. Phillips, Lewis, and Johnson as they head off of Calamity Corner and headed down the front stretch for the checkered flag. Scott Phillips, Wayne Lewis second, Robbie Johnson third, Edgecombe fourth, and Mike Paul comes home fifth.
Boy, it's been a long time for you, buddy.
3 years.
3 years. Last night we thought you had your first one, and wasn't going to be as you got a little bit up in the loose marbles.
Yeah, well, it was starting to push a little bit. And, last lap is all I could do to keep it from getting in there.
Dan Gillum looked like he had a strong car, but if he deserves it, anybody deserves a good headache award, it's got to be Dan right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think everybody has these rough spots once in a while, you know. All year it's been a battle with us, and finally we're here. I want to thank Ronnie Arbuckle, my dad, Rodney Rader, and Springfield Drivetrain, and that's it.
That's it. Well, I tell you what, first of all, you got a nice hat, a mug, and a trophy from B&D. Barbara Shelton is going to present you with those. And I've got a steak dinner for you from Ashley May's Steak and Barbecue here in Lebanon, Scott. Good run for you.
Well, thanks a lot, and I hope to see you all here again.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's Super Stock winner, car number 3, Scott Phillips.
Ronnie, do you know who that new trophy gal is down there? Would that be Jumpin' Donnie Jumper in 75 from Miller, former Super Stock track champion, now running the Modifieds, the double donut machine of Ramey Johnson. Already with one feature win under his belt from Camdenton in car 21, Brian Marler. He is your track points leader in 91, David Bates. And getting some valuable windshield time this evening, a newcomer to the modified ranks this season in car 1, Mike Burris. 15 times around as our pace vehicles head back to the pit area. David Bates, who won last weekend, will start shotgun. We'll give him a chance to warm up the tires before we turn them loose for the B&D 15. Drops that caution flag. We'll get them lined up. Side by side, nose to tail. Next Friday night, Boys Town Celebrity Race. Next Saturday night, the Artco Challenge Series invades the high banks of the I-44 Speedway. Get here early, fans. The drivers will be entering the track at 2. The gates will open at 4, and Keith Foreman will put the green flag in the air. This time around, we look for a start in the B&D 15 for the modified. It's Terry Taylor searching for his first modified win. McMurray to the outside, Allen and Graves, Kopika and McGill, Jumper and Corliss, Marler and Ramey Johnson, Bates and the one machine of Mike Burris, and we're off to modified racing. Terry Taylor jumps forward in the lucky 66 machine. CD down the backstretch. Kopika splits Allen and McGill and goes up to 4th. But it's Terry Taylor, your leader, headed off of turn 4. Wrapping up lap 1, and Marler and Bates get together. And that will probably bring out our first caution flag of the evening. One lap down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Going 15 times around. Terry Taylor, your race leader in car 66 with 1 down, 14 to remain. Boy, that's a tough break for Brian Marler trying to move through some traffic. Just bumped the rear end of another car, so he has to go to the rear of the field, but a lot of time to try and make up that ground. Points battle for the modified. Boy, it doesn't get a whole lot tighter than this. Looking at David Bates, despite dominating the wins column, only has a 14-point advantage over Ramey Johnson. Marler is third, Lee McGill and Brian Kopika round out the top 5. Make one major move to the field. That's that Terry Taylor is your race leader. Terry Taylor is the race leader with 1 lap down. After the racing competition, head over to Big Daddy's Family Restaurant. That's where the racers, the drivers, the crews, and the great racing fans head as well. Now, look looks like we've got ourselves a pretty good lineup. We'll keep turning them off this time around. 1 down, 14 remaining. Looks like we'll send him around the track one more time. Taylor, McMurray, Graves, Kapika, and McGill, your top 5. Followed by Allen, Jumper, Corliss, Ramey Johnson, Bates, the one machine, Burris, and Brian Marler at 21 this time around. We look for a start for the modified. Late model stocks are in the staging area. Don't forget, fans, late models are running 40 laps tonight. Down the backstretch, Taylor will set the pace for the race. McMurray right on his bumper. Both lucky for their first win of the year. We're back to modified racing. Taylor across the start-finish line first. Going 15 big times around on B&D night. Oh, it's Ramey Johnson and Bates. That's a solid battle near the rear of the field. It's Terry Taylor, your leader. Kapika gets her a bit high. And the edge off the floor. Taylor and McMurray 1 and 2. David Bates, who started shotgun, is already up to 7. Terry Taylor, Jamie McMurray will have 3 laps down. 12 remaining for the modifieds in their main event. Those who from the field. And McMurray to the low side as they come off of Calamity Corner. Can he make that through 6? It's Taylor and McMurray, Graves, Kapika, and Lee McGill, and the caution comes out. Ramey Johnson, Looper heading into Calamity Corner in the 00 machine. 4 laps down, and Ramey Johnson heads to the pit, so heads up for the Orange Crush gang. Terry Taylor, your race leader. Jamie McMurray second. Boy, with that points battle, as the lights go off, will Ramey Johnson be able to make it out in that double donut machine? Taylor fires her up and heads off of turn 4, and no. Mr. Foreman was not particularly pleased that time. Could this be a break for the Orange Crush gang? Will Ramey Johnson be able to make it out? He is currently second in the point standings. And here he comes in the double donut machine. He'll probably wait for the remainder of the field as they go by after being involved in that caution. He'll have to go to the rear of the field. So the lights go off, and I tell you what, the Wonder Crew has done its job again. Taylor, McMurray, Graves, Kapika, Lee McGill, Jumper, Bates, who started shotgun, Corliss, Marler, Allen, and Johnson. They're down the back stretch with the lights off. Keith Foreman's going to look over the field, and he will say, we're back to modified racing. And off the start, McMurray got a jump on Taylor. To the inside, the 17-year-old, your new race leader, Jamie McMurray, gets the jump on Terry Taylor. Graves, Kapika, and Jumper, your top 5. What is Jamie McMurray looking for his first win of the year? Down the back stretch they come. McMurray opening up a 4-car length advantage. But quickly on the charge and up to 6 is Brian Marler at 21. McMurray with 6 laps down, 9 laps remaining. Your points leader, David Bates, shuffles past Kapika. He moves up to 4th. McMurray in car 2 coming off of turn 4. He's got 7 laps down. Taylor second, followed by Graves, Bates, and Marler looking to move into the top 5. Jamie McMurray roars down the backstretch and into Calamity Corner. Better than halfway through the main event for the modified. 8 laps down, 7 laps remaining. Taylor second, Bates is third. Marler now moves up to the number 4 spot after going tailback. Boy, this could really shuffle the point standing. Jamie McMurray down the front stretch. He's got 9 down, 6 laps remaining. Opening up an 8-car length advantage. Jamie McMurray, the 17-year-old, who got some practice time last night at Speedway USA with 10 down, 5 remaining, looking for his first win of the year. Taylor, who started on the pole, maintains the second spot. Bates, who began tailback, is up to third. Looking to the inside of Terry Taylor. Bates trying to make that low groove stick. 11 down, 4 laps remaining. It's Bates up to second, and now the caution will come out. Ryan Kapika in car 5, Mo on the track in car 2, and Bates is going to have to make that pass all over again. You go back to the last completed lap, which will put Bates behind Terry Taylor. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, he made the pass on the restart. Got by Terry Taylor, Jamie McMurray, your leader, with 10 down and 5 remaining. What will Terry Taylor look for this time? And how about Bates, the track points leader, as the lights go off. McMurray stands on the accelerator. We're back to racing action. McMurray, another strong restart. Bates to the inside of Terry Taylor as they dive into turn 1. Marler trying to follow him through. That's a battle for third. Jamie McMurray, your leader. Bates second. Followed by Taylor and Marler. Oh, Corliss, Johnson, and Kapika all get together. A 3-car incident has partially blocked the track, and McMurray's got to try and avoid that now as, boy, Corliss, a lot of smoke coming out of that 22 machine. Well, that double donut modified. Tough break for Kapika and Corliss as well at 22. Late model stocks will hit the track next, followed by the late models and, of course, the Bomb Squad. Push back into the pits of the 22. Brian Kapika's got that 5 machine fired up. Well, remember, fans, you go back to the last completed lap. You see the cars going through a little bit of water down low, trying to cool off the tires. Terry Taylor will get second place back for Bates as you go to the last completed lap. Heads up, A.J. Foot. That was not a real smart move there from A.J., pulling out right in front of the field. I got a funny feeling that push truck doesn't have as much power as the Modified. Well, our 50-50 raffle winner tonight, and we'll announce it after the late model main event, who walks off with $143 and 50 little ones. We've got 10 laps down, and boy, it looks like some fluid did leak out of Corliss's machine, so we'll have to take the Modifieds for the quick dry a little bit on B&D night. Next week, Boys Town Celebrity Race. And Bolivar Speedway USA, all kinds of radio personalities. We've got a sheriff, bank president, a former Indy driver, and a whole lot more at the Friday night action track. Late model stocks, the Modifieds, the Pier Streets, and the Super Stocks will be on hand. Several of the late model drivers next Friday night will be in the dunking tank, including the Kelly Racing team out of Walnut Grove. We will also have in the dunking booth Archie Griffin in the B&D sponsor number 11. Paul Wallen, Neil Sullivan sponsored car 13, and Rapid Roy Chisholm, the Ebenezer sponsored 57. And those are just some of the drivers which will be in the dunking tank next Friday, Speedway USA. That all starts at 6 o'clock. will take the modifieds through the quick dry a couple of times, and Raymond Johnson heads back to the pits in the double donut machine. So once again, heads up for the Wonder Crew. Steve Foreman's going to show him, I believe, that caution flag this time. We'll let him eat those tires up. As Corliss makes her back out in car 22. Send him through the quick dry a couple times. Let them take care of that. What do you think? Can the youngster out of the Joplin area, Jamie McMurray, get his first win of the year? Or is this the night for Terry Taylor? McMurray sets the pace. They go into Calamity Corner. We're back to modified racing. 10 down, 5 laps remaining. Taylor trying to hold off pace as they dive into turn number 2. Marler and Strong, 4th place, showing Russell Graves is 5th. That will be his best run of the year. McMurray down the front straightaway. He's got 11 laps down. Bates trying to get by Taylor again. Gets there a bit sideways. Marler right on his bumper. That's a battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. But McMurray down the front stretch. 12 laps down. 3 laps remaining. 3-car freight train trying to haul in the youngster. It's Jamie McMurray in the Calamity Corner. And here comes Marler looking to the inside of Bates. They've seen some sheet metal. Oh my! Marler head on with Graves. Jumper also involved. Boy, in a battle for position, that's a tough break for the chauffeur out of Camdenton. Jumping Donnie Jumper also had a solid run. Goes Lee McGill, heads to the pits in car 10.
Bob, all 3 drivers are moving in. Barber is out of his car. Jumper's getting unbuckled. Russell Graves also moving. All drivers seem to be all right.
Boy, I'll tell you what, a couple weeks ago, Bob, when we had the Good A's headache powder 9, I think we've got a couple of drivers that could go ahead and use that right about now. Now, John Corliss in car 22 appears to be headed back to the pits as well. Attrition playing a big role with the Murray, Taylor, Bates, Kopeka, and Allen. After tonight's racing competition, one place you need to check out, that of course is Big Daddy's Family Restaurant. They're on hand with us in full force this evening. One of the tremendous supporters of the racing competition at the I-44 Speedway, even providing us with our own trophy gal tonight. Need one more wrecker out on the track to take care of that 75 machine. We've only got ourselves a 3-lap shootout as the youngster guns for his first win of the year. Well, evidently our wrecker crew gets paid by the hour. Jamie McMurray, the chauffeur of car number 2, looking for win number 1 this season. Terry Taylor likewise. Bates has been in winner's circle more than any other modified driver this year. Topeka with another strong run going in car number 3. McMurray, the 17-year-old, gets his first win of the season. Taylor is second. Bates, Topeka, and Allen round out the field as they head off of turn number 4 down the front stretch. Keith Foreman looks to turn them loose this time around. Boy, attrition has played a role. Restarts him and very kind to McMurray. He'll stand on the accelerator. He's got 3 laps left. We're back to modified racing. McMurray, Taylor, Bates looking for yet another win. He bobbles in 91, starts to get it sideways. McMurray with a 4-car length advantage as they head into turn number 4. We'll have 13 down, 2 laps remaining. Could this be the night for the youngster? Bates to the high side. Taylor hangs on to second. Topeka is fourth, and there comes Allen. Jamie McMurray greeting the white flag with 1 more lap to go. All kinds of engine problems early in the season. It may all come to a conclusion in 2 more turns. Waiting to greet the checkered flag tonight, C&D 15 winner for the modified, Jamie McMurray. Taylor comes home second.
Bob, the first thing he says is, oh, thank goodness, finally. I finally got this down here to the checkered flag to meet everybody. Fans, he's from down in Joplin, Missouri, former karting champion. There he is, tonight's feature winner, Jamie McMurray. Good run, young man. Thanks very much. Now, I know this is what you guys been running for. David Bates and everybody's been talking about Ashley May steak dinners here on B&D night.
Well, thank you very much. We'll be sure and go there and tell my friends about it.
Let's talk about Jamie McMurray. You come on board, and I understand this is the car that Dale Roper used to run.
Yeah, it's the car that Dale won the track championship with a couple years ago, and a guy in our hometown bought it, and my dad ended up getting it from him. And we went down to Florida and raced a couple times this year, and we're just planning on running here.
Let's talk about those people that helped put the car on the speedway for you.
Yeah, we have Schoenfeld headers, and our biggest sponsor of all is Manly Performance, TCI Transmissions, Speedway Motors, and just about everybody, you know. Everybody's knows that I've raced go-karts, and I kind of have a chance on these deals, and so everybody's wanting to help a little.
What about your goals for the rest of the year?
Oh, we'd like to try to get into a late model by next year.
Sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's B&D 15 winner. Let's hear for Joplin's young Jamie McMurray. There you go, Granny. You got a young'un.
He's got a couple pictures to be taken. Barbara Shelton from Big Daddy's Family Restaurant, our new trophy presenter this evening. There we go. Box of gentlemen, Jim Gilbert in car 6. That's Dave Anderson. The Ashley Mays and Anderson one-stop sponsored car number 4. The team car for Mark Chance out of Marshfield in 54. Buffalo, Sam Payne in 49. Lebanon's Tony Jackson heads out in 56. Out of Phillipsburg, Conway area in the 22 Buick Regal. That's Scotty Atkinson. The American band sponsor 28 of Ron Dubraw. Laclede Auto Sales, one of the many sponsors behind the Chevrolet Lumina of Lebanon's own Carl Loran. 2-time Speedway champion from Steelville in 17, that's Bill Gillum. From Springfield, former track champion Larry Roberts in 57. Out of Camdenton, we call him the Gentle Giant. Already knows Winter Circle once this year. That is J.C. Newell. Last year, Speedway USA track champion in Car 1, the Racing Reverend Jack Daniels. Last week, he won the feature. This week, he is tailback from Camdenton looking for 3 in a row. Ben Newell. And it's time to warm up the Hoosier Racing Slick. number one flagman, Chief Foreman. We'll line them up side by side, nose to tail, 25 big times around for the hot rods of area racing, the late model stocks with Jim Gilbert sitting on the pole looking for his first win in the Ozarks. He will set the pace in car 6. Gilbert and Anderson. Chance and Sam Page. Jackson Atkinson. Dubois, Gilbert bunching up down the backstretch. Keith Foreman looks them over. And we're off. Jim Gilbert sets your pace into turn number 1. Mark Chance from Marshfield looking for his first win of the year. He is up to second. The Gentle Giant already on the move. That's J.C. Newell in 84 as they bunch up off of Calamity Corner. Down the front stretch with 1 lap down. Gilbert, Mark Chance, and Tony Jackson. Then the American man sponsoring 28 of Ron Dubois and Lebanon's Carl Lawrence. It's Jim Gilbert, your race leader, as they head off of turn number 4. 2 laps down to the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Field will now start to work its way single file, or will they? It's Mark Chance to the inside of gentleman Jim Gilbert. Mark Chance, your new race leader. Gilbert and Tony Jackson in a side-by-side duel for second. Last night's feature winner caught up in some traffic. Ben Newell, who started shotgun, he is already up to 8th, though, as we've got 4 laps down. A long, long way to go. Mark Chance from Marshfield. Lebanon's Tony Jackson, who has already picked up a feature win. Chance, Jackson, Dubois, the Gentle Giant, and Carl Lawrence, your top 5. Across the start-finish line with 5 now, 20. Big laps remaining. Don't look now, but he is on the move. Van Newell in car 83 starting to move his way forward. Looking to get by Jim Gilbert, who was taking early command. It's Chance, Jackson, Dubois, now Lawrence, past the Gentle Giant. JC rounds out your top 5, but it's Mark Chance from Marshfield. Oh, and he loves to chase winner's circle tonight on B&D night. Going 25 times around, we've got 8 laps down. Chance and Jackson. Lawrence looks to move into 3rd as he exchanges a sheet metal with Ron Dubois. Your race leader from Marshfield with 8 down. Long, long way to go for Mark Chance. Tony Jackson tries the inside lane but can't find the battle now. Is for 3rd as J.C. Newell to the inside of Carl Lawrence, both trying to catch the 28 of Ron Dubois. But it's Mark Chance and Tony Jackson, the two starting to pull away. And Larry Roberts. Caution will come out. Boy, don't envy Jim Gilbert right now. That's up close and personal with all kinds of sparks flying off the speedway. So Larry Roberts out of Springfield will dive into the pit. And Roberts currently 5th in the track point standings. Lawrence is the track points leader. He is being shown 4th. As we check out where the top 5 of the point standings are. Lawrence, your points leader, he is 4th. J.C. Newell is currently 2nd in the point standings. He is riding in the number 5 position. The Racing Reverend Jack Daniel is 3rd in the track point standings. He is currently 8th in our feature. Bill Gillum, who is 4th in the track point standings, is currently 6th in tonight's main event. And Larry Roberts, who is 5th, is headed to the pit. Mark Chance, who is 7th in the track point standings, is your race leader with Tony Jackson glued to his bumper. Our own A.J. Foot makes sure there was no debris left on the track. Boy, that was a wild ride, fans, for Jim Gilbert. Right behind Larry Roberts, he got caught up in a preliminary 4th of July explosion. Evidently no debris on the track. They're going to warm up the tires a bit, and the question, can he make it out of the pit in time? If it was only a tire that went down for Larry Roberts, will he have time to get back on the track? We've got 9 laps down, 16 remaining. Keith Foreman will put that green flag in the air. He will turn the lights off as well with 9 down in the B&D, 25 for the late model stock. We look to go racing this time around. Mark Chance looking for his first win of the year. Will Larry Roberts be able to make it out of the pit? Says the field bunches up down the backstretch. Chance, Jackson, Dubois, Lawrence, and the Gentle Giant. They go into Calamity Corner. Keith Foreman will look over the field. And he will say, not this time. Keith Foreman not real pleased. We're going to need to try that one more time. Mark Chance, your race leader. Tony Jackson second. Ron Dubois, Carl Lawrence, and J.C. Newell, the top 5 runners. Still an awful long way to go in this one. What kind of pace do we look for out of the 54? Ashley Mays and Anderson, one stop sponsored on Mark Chance's Chevrolet Lumina as they head off, and we're back to racing action. Chance, Jackson, J.C. Newell looking to try the inside of Carl Lawrence this time around. Boy, 2 weeks ago did they have a great battle. Newell's got the nose stuck in as they go into Calamity Corner. But it's Mark Chance, Tony Jackson gets it, then loose J.C. Newell and Roger Lawrence making 3 wide. J.C. Newell down in the pebbles, exchanges some sheet metal with Dubois. Your race leader, Mark Chance, off of turn number 4. Across the start-finish line. With 11 laps down, 14 laps remaining. The Marshfield chauffeur looking for his first win of the year. Tony Jackson and track points leader Carl Lawrence trying to haul him in. It's Chance, Jackson, Lawrence, J.C. Newell, Jack Daniel trying to get by the former Speedway champion. And Ben Newell as well will make it 2 wide into Calamity Corner. We've got 13 laps down, 12 laps remaining for the late model stocks. Your top 5. Chance, Jackson, Lawrence, J.C. Newell, and Jack Daniel. And the battle is right at the front of the pack. Across the start-finish line, 14 down, 11 left. Tony Jackson and Carl Lawrence in the battle for second. Lawrence moves up to second. Ben Newell now setting his sights on the top 5 of the racing record, and this time slams it shut. Only 10 laps remaining for Mark Chance, who is trying to end his string of bad luck this evening. Can he do it? The battle now for 5th. Ben Newell inside of the racing reverend. He'll gun the accelerators that come off of Calamity Corner. It's Mark Chance, Carl Lawrence, Tony Jackson, J.C. and now Ben Newell. 16 laps down, your leader into Calamity Corner is Mark Chance. Lawrence trying to pick up the more valuable track points as they cross the start-finish line. 17 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Lawrence looking for his 3rd win of the year. Son now trying the inside of father. That's Ben Newell inside of J.C. It's Mark Chance, Lawrence, 1 and 2. Jackson 3rd, J.C. and Ben 4th and 5th. Tony Jackson at 56 drifts a bit high. The Gentle Giant will look to the low side of Calamity Corner. No running room this time around. As Mark Chance and Carl Lawrence start to pull away from the field with 19 down and 6 left. Jackson. That's a battle for third. Van Newell trying to follow him by. The battle is for first and for third. Tony Jackson off the pace. It's J.C. Bennett and the racing rubber all sliding by. Down the front stretch. Mark Chance, and here comes Lawrence with 20 laps down. Lawrence to the inside of Chance, who bobbles. Carl Lawrence in the Liquid Auto Sales sponsored 92. In Calamity Corner. That's Carl Lawrence, your new race leader. Lawrence and now Chance right on his bumper. JC and Van Newell, followed by Jack Daniels, Bill Gillum. The tires have gone down for Tony Jackson. We've got 23 down for the Lebanon Show for Carl Lawrence. Chance followed by the Newells and then Bill Gillum. Keith Foreman will display the white flag for the 92 Chevrolet Illumina of Carl Lawrence with 1 more lap to go. Lawrence looking for his third win of the year. Mark Chance for his first. They're going into Calamity Corner. And down the front stretch, the checkered flag is out for Carl Lawrence. Chance second, followed by J.C., then Van Newell and Bill Gillum. Sponsor list with him because he's got a bunch of them. I tell you what, that is going to be one happy driver this time. On B&D night, he wins the B&D 25. Probably just a little bit warm inside. He had a great duel with Marshfield's Mark Chance. Headed out of that Chevrolet Lumina. Here is Carl Lawrence. Ronnie, why don't you move down to him?
I like this sign. Warning, this position subject to change without notice. That helps. Great run. You and Mark had a great race going there, and looked like he gave you a little bit on that low groove in turn number 2.
Yeah, he did. That was a mistake he made, but I'm glad he made it.
Dave Anderson of Ashley Mays says, guess what? You get another one in the state dinner.
Good deal. I'm going to collect these, and one of these days I'm going to cash them in.
What's this hat here? You said you got a new one. It says, never, never quit.
Yeah, in green letters it says quit, and then in black, embroidered with white, it says never, never quit.
Great run. And of course, you lost the motor in the backup car, it looked like earlier.
Yeah, we lost the motor, but thank goodness it's still going.
Okay. Have you got your list? I see it's already back here. Hang on, fans, just for the next couple of minutes. Let's talk about help. Don't cut it off. You'll get you, Bob. Talk about the people that help get you to the track every week.
Well, Ronnie, I'd like to thank my longtime friend Willard Huff. He's been with me ever since I started out here in dirt. He knew I didn't know what I was doing, but there was hope for me, I guess. But anyway, I'd like to thank Willard Huff with Fleet Auto Sales, Bodie's Cafe downtown Lebanon, Jeff at the Country Kitchen, Debbie and Lynn Haley at Champion Exterminating, Daryl Deputy, Fisher Studios, Joe's Pharmacy, Keith Johnson Racing, my own business, Lawrence Bonding Service, Martin's One Stop, Swiss Inn, Western Citizens, Young Signs, and Daryl Finney, Custom Motorcraft in Richmond.
Where are you going after the races tonight?
To bed.
I thought you was going to the 127 exit.
I don't know. I'm awful tired.
Ladies and gentlemen, she's going to present him. She knows him very well. Let's hear tonight's late model stock feature winner, Carl Lawrence.
Hey, Barbara, don't forget the kiss. There we go.
40 times around, sponsored by the B&D Auto and Truck Plaza, and Bob, give us tonight's starting grid.
Your attention, please. Marvin Wampler, please come to the tower. Marvin Wampler, please come to the tower. Here is the starting grid for tonight's B&D 40 for the Grand American Late Model. Rookie late model driver Brian Daniels starts on the pole in 52. It's Steve Holt in 35. The Anderson one-stop sponsored 41 of Bobby Vinci. O'Sullivan Furniture is the sponsor. Paul Wallen's lucky number 13. In row 3, we call him the Black Bandit. That is Tim Gettemeyer. The Simmons Racing Chevrolet Luma in car 19, Steve Simmons. Out of Fenton in car number 19, former Modified track champion, the chauffeur of car 99, Joe Wall. Sporting the sponsorship of Laclede Auto Sales, the Ford Thunderbird. That's Lebanon's Ken Spud Dickinson. He is the three-time NASCAR short track national champion out of Springfield. The Sportsman pickup cover sponsor 75 of Larry Phillips. Sporting the colors of B&D and number 11, Archie Griffin. The Indiana Outlaw getting set up for next weekend's IMCA Show. That is Bobby Blount. In car number 30, please welcome Don Cloyd. The 73 of first-year late model driver Mike Monte. Glenn Darrell, please come to the concession stand, please. From Fair Grove, lucky number 7, the Iceman, Ricky Eisenhower. Out of Farmington in 24, that's Dean Motzinger. And the Ebenezer's of Baltimore sponsored 57 of Roy Chisholm.
Something. How many of you think Larry Phillips can get this win here tonight in this 40-lapper? How many of you like to see the Indiana Outlaw Bobby Blount in victory lane? Here we go, Bobby. The lights are on for the B&D Auto and Truck Club of 40.
Not going 30, not 35, 40. Times around. Brian Daniel and Steve Holt in row number 1. Wallen and Menzie. The Richland Bow and Bob Webster and Steve Simmons. Walsh and Gedemeyer, Spuds and Phillips. Keith Foreman looks them over. We're off to the B&D 40. As they roar into turn number 1, it's Brian Daniel. Holds and rolls. The three's trying to pull away from the field. Phillips to the high groove. Past Walsh and Simmons. Simmons gets the side. Oh, my. Well, the only question there, who wasn't involved? Eisenhower, Simmons, Spuds, Archie, Motzinger, the 57 of Roy Chisholm, and the Indiana Outlaw all involved. Ricky dives into the pits in a big hurry. Boy, this is not the way you wanted to start the B&D 40. The red flag will bring the field to a stop down the front stretch. Well, we just got a report from trackside of the 3 cars that remain on the track. Steve Simmons, Spuds Dickinson, and Archie Griffin. Everyone's out of their cars and all right. Dean Motzinger out of Farmington makes it back onto the track in car 24. And after tonight's late model 40 lap main event, we'll be announcing the 50-50 raffle winner. Someone walks home with $143.50. Now, fans, it looks like all he's going to get tonight is your applause as the fourth Thunderbird is hauled back to the pits. The chauffeur of car 21, Lebanon Spud Dickinson. You look at that Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, no laps down. Going 40 times around. Daniel and Steve Holt, Menzie and Webster, Walsh, Jedediah, Larry Phillips, the Indiana Outlaw, Dean Montzinger, Mike Montag, Don Floyd Ice, and Roy Chisholm. Well, the question now, can any of the other cars involved in that incident, either Steve Simmons, Archie Griffin, or Spud Dickinson, make it out of the pit area? A lot of damage was done to all three cars. Will any of them be able to come out for tonight's B&D 40 and pick up some valuable track points? Wrecker has made it out. Let's see if Keith lets him warm up the tires a bit as the engines had been shut down. Caution light remains on. Well, the last time Brian Daniels started on the pole at the I-44 Speedway in a feature, he won it. He'll be trying to do the same thing this evening. Bomb Squad is up next. The cars take a couple of laps and weave back and forth and try to heat up those tires. We're going 40 times around this evening in the B&D 40 for the Pacific Coast Regional Cars and Stars. Keith Foreman says, how about heating up those tires? The caution light comes on. We're going back to an original restart as the Hoosier Racing slicks have been heated up. 40 times around for the Grand American Late Models. 14 cars, 40 times around. Brian Daniel and Paul Wallen. Along with Steve Holt, Bobby Menzie making up the first two rows. Tim Jedediah and the Bullet. Joe Walsh and Larry Phillips. The lights go off. Getting ready to go 40 big times around. Brian Daniel and Steve Holt in row 1. Bobby Menzie and Paul Wallen head down the backstretch. Getting set for a 40-lap main event. Daniel will set the pace for the race. Holt to his outside. Daniel stands on the accelerator and we're off to late model racing. Daniel takes the lead going into turn number 1. Holt and Wallen second and third. We've got a car trying to make it out onto the track that's stalled. Right on the entrance to the pit. One lap down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Brian Daniel roars down the backstretch. Holt and Wallen second and third. Webster, three-time national champion. Bob Webster in 25 also heads to the pits. You look at the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard and the B&D 30. B&D 40 times around. Ryan Daniel, your race leader in car 52. On the Bandit, Tim Gedemeyer heads into the pit area. It's Daniel, Wallen, Holt, the Outlaw, and Ricky Eisenhower, followed by Joe Walsh, Bobby Menzie, the 73 of Mike Montang, and rapping Roy Chisholm. Let's see, will we get a start this time around? The green flag is in that powerful right arm of Keith Foreman. Daniel will set your pace. Will the cars be able to get out of the pits in time? Down the backstretch with the lights off. Here comes the Bandit. Down the backstretch. The lights are off. Keith Foreman looks him over, and we're off. The late model racing. Daniel, Wallen, Holt, the Outlaw, and Eisenhower. 7 laps down. Here come the other cars about to be put down a lap. Bob Webster is out. Larry Phillips will go down a lap. Oh, no, he won't. Mike Montang roots it at 73. Well, when the yellow light comes on, you go back to the last completed lap. And if you're going to be successful in the racing game, you got to be good, but every once in a while, you got to be lucky. That's what happened that time to the three-time national champion. He was half the straightaway from being put down a lap, but when the caution light comes on, you go back to the last completed lap. So Brian Daniel, the first year late model driver, will lead him down the front stretch. Still 7 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Wallen, then Holt, the Outlaw, Ricky Eisenhower. All the cars on the track now are on the lead lap as Mike Montag ducks into the pits in car 73. Keith Foreman will put the green flag in the air. Ryan Daniel, Paul Wallen, Steve Holt, the Indiana Outlaw setting up for the IMCA Show. Ricky Eisenhower, Walsh, Menzie, Gedemeyer, along with the Bullen, Larry Phillips, and Roy Chisholm. Daniel will stand on the accelerator. We're back to the B&D 40. Daniel streaks down the backstretch. The driver to watch in the number 4 spot is the Indiana Outlaw. Setting up for the IMCA Series next week, dialing the inside of Steve Holt. But it's Brian Daniel opening the 4-car length advantage. The Outlaw getting by Holt as they head into Calamity Corner. He made the low cruise stick last night at Bolivar. He's got to work tonight at the I-44 Speedway. It's Brian Daniel, Paul Wallen, and Holt still holding off the charge of the Outlaw. Eisenhower sitting back in the 5 spot. Across the start-finish line, 13 down. Rolling in the outlaw, trying to haul in the first-year late model driver. Eisenhower, Walls, two young standouts, battling for fourth. Phillips off the pace in 75. Larry Phillips into the pit in the Sportsman pickup cover sponsored Chevrolet Lebanon. Fans look at the battle now for second. Paul Wallen and the outlaw, nose to tail. Across the start-finish line, a long way to go, 15 down, 25 remaining. Last night, the outlaw had the low groove working. Where will it look for his spot here? It's Brian Daniel, the 16 down, your leader, trying to lead and win this one flag to flag. Bobby Blount, the outlaw, trying to haul in Paul Wallen with a strong showing in that 13. The outlaw started high, now dives back down low. Daniel continues to be your leader. Chisholm about to be put down a lap at 57. And here comes the outlaw by Paul Wallen. In the Calamity Corner now. His sights are set on the first-year late model driver, Brian Daniel. They go down the backstretch. The outlaw trying to haul in the chauffeur of car 52. We'll have 19 down this time around. Bomb Squad is next. Bobby Blount trying to make the pass for the lead down the backstretch. Puts the pedal down. Into Calamity Corner they go, side by side. And roaring down the front stretch, that's a battle for the lead. Last year's Arco Rookie of the Year. Trying to haul in a potential Rookie of the Year in the NASCAR Winston Racing Series Pacific Coast Region. The Indiana Outlaw down the front stretch. And side by side with Brian Daniel, one racing the Outlaw, your new race leader. They go into Calamity Corner. Bobby Blount across the start finish. Oh, Brian Daniel bobbled. What a job of recovery, but Eisenhower out of third row will now try and haul in one of the Arco standouts. 22 laps down now, 23. Is there time for Ricky Eisenhower? Can Ice haul in the Arco standout to his top 10 in the Arco point standing? Is there enough time for the Chevrolet Lebanon? It's Bobby Blount out of the state of Indiana, just setting things up for next weekend's Arco 100 into Calamity Corner. He's got 25 down this time around, 15 laps remaining. Eisenhower starting to gain a little bit of ground. Is there time for the Sutherland Quarter Horses sponsored car number 7? This is Ricky's home track. Is there time for the second-year late model driver to haul in the Outlaw? We've got 26 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Daniel Arad led this from the outset as third. Wallen and Joe Walls round out the top 5. Bobby Minzy about to be put down a lap at car 41. As the Outlaw will look to his inside, he's slowed up a bit though, as Ricky Eisenhower will also come around the 41 machine, or try to, as they go into turn number 1. Eisenhower looking to make that low groove stick. As your leaders roar into Calamity Corner, 129 down this time around. Across the start-finish line they come. It's Bobby Blount, Ricky Eisenhower, Bobby Minzy, Brian Daniel, and Paul Wallen. Eisenhower trying to haul in a driver who's top 10 in the Arco point standings heading into next weekend's racing action. We've got 30 down and 10 remaining in the B&D 40. Down the backstretch, roar your two leaders. Last year, Ricky qualified for the Ozark 100 with the Arco Series. This year, he was on the win, but right now his sights are set on last year's Arco Rookie of the Year. They go into Calamity Corner. We'll have 32 down and 8 36 down, 4 remaining. Brian Daniel is third. Only about a 5 to 7 car length advantage. Eisenhower appears to have him in the corners, but on the straightaways, a lot of power for the Outlaw. With 37 laps down, 3 left. Boy, friction has taken its toll, and the Outlaws showed us some muscle tonight, but Eisenhower is gaining a little bit of ground. 38 down, only 2 laps remaining. Just 2 laps. Is there time for Ricky Eisenhower? Down the backstretch. Keith Foreman, the white flag out for the Indiana Outlaw. He's only got 1 more lap to go. Ricky Eisenhower and the Outlaw head down the backstretch for the final cut. Oh, we've got a caution. Oh, my. We are going to set ourselves up for quite a shootout. Joe Walsh and Bob Webster. Walsh and Webster both have them fired up. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 38 laps down, 2 laps remaining. Green, white, checkered. What do you think? Can the Indiana Outlaw hang on and get the win tonight? How about homegrown Ricky Eisenhower in car number 7? We've got ourselves a 2-lap shootout. Foreman with the black flag out. Black flag comes down once again from Keith Foreman. Black flag for the Black Bandit, Tim Gettemeyer. So Gettemeyer takes it to the pitch for consultation in car 68. Sixth in the Arco point standing. Bobby Blount in the lead with just those 2 laps remaining. He won the Speedway USA Track Championship last year. Last weekend, he won the feature here at the I-44 Speedway. He's trying to go from last to first. 2 laps left for the Indiana Outlaw and Ricky Eisenhower. And if any of them make any kind of mistake, first-year late model driver Brian Daniel and Paul Wallen are waiting in 3rd and 4th. Keith Foreman's going to look over the field this time around and set for green, white, checkered. The Outlaw will set the pace. Eisenhower fires up that Chevrolet aluminum. They will go down the backstretch. Eisenhower knows this track well. What kind of start can we look for from the Outlaw? He flexes the muscle as they go into turn 4. We're back to the 2-lap shootout. The Outlaw and Eisenhower roar down the backstretch. Ricky to the inside. Oh, sheet metal exchange. Daniel and Eisenhower got together. trying to make a move past the Outlaw, and he and Brian Daniel appeared to get together that time, headed off of turn 2. So now Ricky will head to the rear of the field in the Sutherland Quarter Horses sponsored car number 7. Tell you what, man, you look at the track point standing setting into racing action this evening. Eisenhower back up to the number 2 position. No, I don't think that's where he belongs. Fans, you look at the late model point standings heading into the racing action this evening, and you look right at the top of the pack. Archie Griffin, Larry Phillips, both out of racing action this evening. Spud Dickinson, who is 4th, is also out. Roy Chisholm could be the big winner tonight. Well, now we have set ourselves up for another shootout. The Outlaw with 2 laps remaining. First-year late model driver Brian Daniel on his tail. Paul Wallen, former Rookie of the Year, is sitting 3rd. Instructed by a track official, you don't stop on the track. That can only mean more trouble. Eisenhower directed to the pitch with that black flag. So Ricky Eisenhower heads to the pitch in car number 7. Well, now the Outlaw with another car to contend with. The green flag is in the air in the hands of Keith Foreman. The Outlaw, Brian Daniel, Paul Wallen, Joe Wall, Bob Webster, Bobby Mincy, and Roy Chisholm. Down the backstretch they go. It'll be green, white checkered in the B&D 40. The Outlaw in the Calamity corner. Daniel right on his bumper, and a 2-lap shootout is underway. The Outlaw takes her in the Calamity corner for the next to last time. Wallen right on the bumper of Daniel. The field's got 1 more lap to go. Wallen tries to fight his way by Brian Daniel. Some sheet metal exchange there. Webster off the pace. Headed off for turn 4. For the checkered flag, the Indiana Outlaw. Wallen, Daniel, Walsh, and Webster round out your top 5. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's B&D 40 winner, the Indiana Outlaw.
Well, as the gentleman we interviewed about the Arco show, Bobby Blunt in the USA Racing number 31, and that's a tough feature.
Yeah, it's tough, but I sure like this racetrack.
Like that racetrack. Now you see why we call Ricky the Iceman. He's liable to sneak up behind you anytime.
Yeah, I knew he was coming there at the end, and I knew there was only 2 laps, so I just kept it on the bottom. Then on that restart, he probably didn't get his tires clean and split up into me.
But next weekend, is this an you?
Oh, I'm sure it helped us. I just hope I'm standing up here next weekend about this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 4 o'clock, time calls at 6. Tonight's B&D 40 winner in the Port City Racing Oldsmobile, car number 31, the Indiana Outlaw, Bobby Blunt.
Well, Barbara Shelton, the Ozarks #1 trophy gal out at Big Daddy's Family Restaurant. Diola puts the hat on, and he'll get that trophy. He'll be back with us next week. Led out by Daniel Weaver in car 19, Teresa Holliday in 18, the 5 of Rick Barker. Darren Weaver in car 7, Joe Skaggs in 29, Mike Benson 23, the 92 of Jason Wood. Larry Pruitt in 02. That's Jesse Hawkins in the 06 machine, Linda Craig in 20, Gary Kloster's 15, George Huey Jr. in 41. The 21 machine of Chris Shoemaker. Points leader, Spanky Weiss in 11. Joe Oxer in car 44, Rick Oliver in 12. Terry Holtkamp in 2. The 28 of Mike McMullen. Behind the wheel of 32 is Randall Weddle. Daniel Gray's with us in car 66, Don Scroggins in 03. The 24 of Chuck Hansen, Al Yarborough in 1. And behind the wheel of car number 6, feature winner last week, starting tailback Robert Reed. Times around. Steve Foreman is going to look over this monster field. Cars answering the bell for tonight's Bomb Squad main event. Imagine next week on Saturday, just take 2 of these cars away, you've got 24, and you've got the number that will start the 100-lap main event. Barker will set your pace for the race down the backstretch, Weaver to the outside. The number on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard is a 50-50 raffle winning number. Barker roars off at turn 3, and we're off to Bomb Squad Racing. Barker and then Weaver and Weaver. 1, 2, and 3. And Holiday being shown forth into the high side of the lucky 7 of Darren Weaver. There's 3 deep down the backstretch and into Calamity Corner. That's Woods with the gutsy move, and he moves up to the number 6 spot. Rick Barker in 5 across the start-finish line. 1 lap down and a bumper being dragged by Joe Skaggs at 29. He'll receive the black flag the next time around, shooting all the sparks from underneath the 29. But it's Rick Barker, your leader, with 2 laps on. Oh, Craig, Weaver, Kloster, Oliver, Skaggs, and a whole bunch more. Joe Skaggs is 29, gets the black flag for trailing that fender, shooting sparks all over the track. He'll head back to the pit area, probably just rip it off. Well, a minute ago I looked up, there were about 3 cars on the entrance to turn 4. They're not there anymore. They're already fired up and headed to the rear of the field as Skaggs goes to the pits at 29. Security to the pits, please. Security to the pits. 1 lap down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Security to the tech shed, please. Security to the tech shed. Car number 5 of Rick Barker is your race leader. Daniel Weaver, 19, is second. Going 14 more times around. Next Friday night, Boys Town Celebrity Festivities at Bolivar Speedway, USA. 4-division running. A late model drivers, a bunch of them will be in the dunk tank for you starting at 6 o'clock. like we've got ourselves a solid lineup. One down, 14 laps remaining. Keith Foreman will put that powerful right arm in the air and say, ladies and gentlemen, this next time around. Down the backstretch, Barker will set your pace. Weaver, Holiday, Benson, and Jason Wood. Keith is going to look over this massive field with 14 laps remaining on B9. Let's go racing! Barker pounds her down on the front stretch and heads into turn one as your race leader. Weaver, Holiday, and Woods to the inside of Benson with two wheels below that white line. Pruitt able to slide by and move all the way past Benson and up to fourth. Barker down the front stretch, 2 laps down, 13 laps remaining. There goes too deep throughout the field. Oh, wild ride for Craig down the front stretch, making some contact with Shannon Reeves, 98. Your race leader, though, in car number 5 is Rick Barker. With almost half the straightaway advantage, Pruitt's all the way up to the number 2 position if he can fight by Weaver. Barker down in the Calamity corner. It'll be 4 laps down, this time 11 remaining. All right, 3 deep, the Calamity corner, including points leader Spanky Weiss. They start to bunch up as they head down the front stretch. Your race leader, though, about to encounter some lap. Oh, heads up in turn 4. That's going to bring out the caution flag. Willie Compton in 04, Don Stroggins in the 03, and the 66 of Dan Graves all involved. Four laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. After the racing competition, the place you need to go, Big Daddy's Family Restaurant at B&D Auto Truck Plaza, exit 127 off I-44. For the racers, the crew members, and everyone heads after tonight's racing action. But prior to that, we invite you to head down to the pits after a brief cool-down period. And 4 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. 11 laps remaining for the bomb squad. Just a couple of adjustments need to be made to the field, and we should be ready to get things underway. Barker is your leader. Pruitt is second. Woods third. Weaver fourth. Holiday in the number 5 position. Then it's George Huey Jr. Points leader Spanky Weiss. Gary Klossner. Jesse Hawkins. And the driver who started tailback this evening behind the wheel, car 6, Robert Reeves. Keith Foreman will put that white flag, how about the green flag in the air? This time around, we look for a restart with 11 laps remaining. Rick Barker looking for a feature win on B&D Auto Truck Plaza tonight. Hits the field down the backstretch. The field takes up half the track when they're lined up nose to tail. Barker will stand on the accelerator as Keith Foreman looks over the field, and he says, we're back to Bomb Squad racing. Barker and Pruitt, 1 and 2, as they battle down the backstretch. Woods, Weaver's a little bit off the pace at 19. Here comes Spanky looking to move into the fifth spot. Spanky Weisher, track points later, is up to fifth. 5 down, 10 remaining on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Barker, Pruitt, Woods, and here comes Weaver and Spanky now looking to move up to fourth. Weisher's really got that high groove working down the backstretch. Gloucester fights by Hollidays. Weaver gets her sideways in 19, coming on a turn 4 and collects several cars along with it. Well, looks like the tires had gone down on Weaver's 19 and all of a sudden just looped, headed into turn number 4. Back to 5 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Weaver's got that 19 fired up and headed back to the rear of the field. Well, Holliday's car will be put behind Spanky Weisher's as we go to the last completed lap. And we should be pretty close to the correct lineup. Barker will set the pace. That green flag in the air. We're back to Bomb Squad Racing. Barker, Pruitt, Wood. Here comes Spanky. That's a battle for the third spot. Barker down the backstretch, trying to hold off Larry Pruitt. Reed started tailback all the way up to the number 3 spot. 6 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, 9 laps remaining. Barker trying to lead and win this one, flag to flag. Pruitt 3 car lengths behind as they dive into Calamity Corner. Reed, Spanky, and Woods off the pace in 92. Jason Woods well off the pace, ducking to the low side, going into turn 4. 7 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. About to encounter some lap traffic as Rick Barker is your race leader. Weaver and Thompson will be the first 2 lap cars. We'll have 8 laps down, 7 laps remaining on B&D night. Barker, Pruitt, Reed, Spanky, Huey, and Gloucester dueling and dicing for the 5 spot. And now the yellow light will come on as Woods goes to the pits in 92. Laps down, 7 laps remaining on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Tires cool down again. Lineup is a good one. The lights go off. 7 laps remaining. Barker, Pruitt, Reed, Spanky, Huey, Gloucester, Hawkins, Holliday, Shoemaker, and we're back to Bomb Squad Racing. Your leaders roar into turn number 3. Past the midway point, Pruitt and Reed get into it and get a little bit sideways, but off the brakes and back onto the accelerator is Pruitt. It's Rick Barker in car 5, off of turn 4, down the front stretch. Left 9 laps down. Barker, Pruitt, Reed, Spanky, Huey, Gloucester, and Hawkins. For one of battle we've got going now for the number 2 position is Reeves. Looks to the inside of Pruitt as they dive into Calamity Corner. Reeves starts to get the nose in there, but Pruitt's back on the accelerator. They're side by side in a battle for second. Barker, your leader, but Pruitt, and here comes Reeves. Don't count out Spanky. This is a battle down the back stretch for second. Pruitt on the high side, Reeves to the low side. We'll have 11 down this time around. Rick Barker in car 5, your race leader. Pruitt hangs on to second. Reeves turn, here comes Gary Klossner in car 15. Trying to dial it in on the high side, and oh, here we go again. Started with McMullen and Holtkamp at 28 and 2, and a bunch of others got collected. Laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, 4 laps remaining. Barker, Larry Pruitt, Robert Reeves, Frankie Weiss, and Gary Klossner, your top 5 runners. With 4 laps remaining, and the lights go out. Keith Foreman will look over the field. 4-lap shootout is underway. Barker heads into turn 1. Reeves looks to the high side of Pruitt, trying to make that stick in the battle for second. Weiss is 4th, Klossner being shown 5th. And Holtkamp off the pace in car 2. Keith Foreman says dive down to the infield, and it looks like Holtkamp's going to bring it to a stop right there. Down the back stretch is Rick Barker in car 5. Your leaders go into Calamity Corner with 12 down. This will be 13. Barker, Pruitt, Reeves, Spanky, and Klossner. 13 laps down. Keith Foreman has a white flag in his hand. Rick Barker searching for a feature win this evening. As he heads down the front stretch, he's just got 1 more lap to go. Barker, Pruitt, Reeves, Spanky, and Gary Klossner. Oh, McMullen and Yarborough get into it, and Ostrog somehow manages to avoid it as your leader comes off of Calamity Corner. The green light is still on. The checkered flag is out. Here it comes for Rick Barker. Pruitt, Reeves, Klossner, and Spanky round out the top 5. Talk about a...
Boy, a good run for the Lebanon native, Rick. Let's get out of here now. Finally, you got a little luck on your way, didn't you? Finally, they started me up front, and that's all it took. Looked real good. Looked real good out there. That bomb squad is a tough class. Very tough, very tough. First of all, we got a steak dinner for you from Action Maze. I know you probably ate there before, haven't you? Sure have. Real good food. Thanks. Okay, let's talk about some of the sponsors before the people get out of here that you got. First of all, Case Pocket Knives, Chicago Cutlery, Dale Barker Lawn Care, that's my dad. Special thanks to him. Adams Portable Welding, DDS,
for paintless dent repair. That's what I do. And special thanks to Clay Sloan. He's my main guy that keeps it going for me every week.
Now, you know what this means. Next week, you start at the back.
I know. I'm looking forward to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's Bomb Squad winner, his first ever Lebanon's Rick Barker.